Hello and welcome to round 3. I am Tax Attorney. I'm here with Furious. We're going to be your two-man booth today. Um, again, starting up round 3 to all the dads out there. Happy Father's Day. We are here with, as I said, round 3 of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. And this is a big race in this tournament. We've got all these runners sitting on 3 points. We've got randalleatscheese, we've got Yoszarian, we've got KingTrubbs. All are very capable runners, and I'm looking forward to a great race. There may be a couple of memes involved because there are a couple of runners in here who enjoy that sort of thing. But this is also a really important race. As I said, each of these runners are sitting on 3 points. Based on the format of the tournament, probably 7 or 8 points are needed to get into the elimination rounds. And, a third place probably means the end of the road for one of these runners. So this is going to be a big race today. But we'll still have, just based on these runners, and we'll still have a little fun, that's for sure.
Alright, looks like we're about to get started here. Also, hi everyone. I don't think I said hi.
We are about to get started in 3, 2, 1, and we're off.
There we go. Now we're off.
There it is. Now we're off. So, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. These games both came out in 2018, and they've developed into quite a speed run that's really enjoyed by a lot of members of this community. It's got elements of both a normal speed run and a randomizer. So this is it's every run's a little bit different, and that's what makes it so much fun. That's what we like so much about it. It's not just do one thing, go to the next thing, go to the next thing, go to the next thing. You have to adapt and be flexible in how you do things. So this is we'll see that today. We're already seeing some naming from Randall. We have Go Power as his trainer name. Oh dear. All right. Well,
I like it.
Yeah.
I approve.
So for context, Go Power, it's another term for AVs. So after every level up, you get a random stat boost in one of your 6 stats. For some reason, the name calls it Go Power. So yeah. Anyway, so the first of what will probably be several memes here today. It'll be fun to watch. It's an elimination race in all likelihood for, again, at least one of these runners, but they're going to have fun with it, so that's what we like to see. Just some basic setup here. Trainers modifying their settings, having fast text because this is a speed run and you want to go quickly. But we're about to catch our starter up here. We'll be able to learn a little bit of information about Randall's starter right off the bat. Unfortunately, that's not the case for Eevee. Every Eevee has 27 what's called combat power. And that's just kind of an aggregate of all the stats. Pikachu, that's not necessarily the case. You can have either 26 or 27 combat power, depending on whether it's a neutral nature, which means you have no stat boost. So it's 27 if you have a neutral. Whereas if you have a boost in one stat and a decrease in another stat, it will be 26. I did not actually get a good
That was 27? So it is a
That's
neutral.
27. So I actually like to get that for a race. I know I don't have a nature that's going to be a problem. And I also don't have to check my nature. So good start for Randall. Making up probably some of the time from changing his name to Go Power. That'll work well for him.
Randall had to use backups, I think, on both round 1 and round 2, so it's a nice change, I guess.
Yes, I was going to say, I know I was up against him in round 1, and he did use a backup. Not that it mattered much, because Randall wiped the floor with me pretty good, but so he'll be pleased that he doesn't have to think about any backups or have any adverse stats. Really, what you're looking for in terms of stats for this game, you want to see anything that's not, for Pikachu perspective, you want to see anything that's not minus attack or minus special attack. Eevee is a little bit more picky. You also don't want to see minus speed. Not that they're. Oh, here we go with some memes. I think we had Randall call his EV, and I think KingTrubbs may have called his dad.
Yeah.
So shout out to Father's Day. Again, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. So Yoszarian, it looks like
was calm.
Did get an unrunnable. So he is
so
pulling up a backup. Yeah, so it's an option for all of our runners to have a backup if they so choose. They don't have to, but if you do get one of those unrunnable natures, the minus attacks, the minus special attacks, the minus speeds, you could have a backup save that is a neutral nature. And so that's what Yoszarian's going to have. So we're going to have Randall that we know has a neutral already based on his combat power. We have Yoszarian, who's also going to be neutral. And then KingTrubbs, we will see. We don't know what his nature is yet.
Yeah, I would say all 3 of our runners had a bit of a rough time in the previous round. Randall coming very close to actually winning his race against Amber, I believe. And then making a mistake right at the end that cost him not only the win, but the entire race, because he ended up last because of it. Yoszarian actually raced yesterday, and was actually on a pretty good run. Was potentially going to win the race, and then ended up making a small mistake that ended up costing him a lot by not water stoning the Staryu at the correct time.
So request of chat when the water stone comes up. We'll go ahead and remind him, just so we don't have that happen again.
Then KingTrubbs also had all sorts of issues, I think, with E4 in both round 1 and round 2. So all of our runners are going to be very motivated to get a good run this time, because they've had some issues recently. Should be a good race.
Especially, again, like, you get 7 or 8 points is probably the cutoff to getting into the semifinal round of 9. And you can't get to 7 or 8 points if you get 0 in this race. You could probably pull it off if you get 2nd and then win your final race, but a 0-point effort here probably does not get the job done. So really critical race for really all 3 of these runners. It's interesting. This is race 6 out of 10 in this round, so you're like, okay, this is a bottom half race. What are we doing here? These are not 3 bottom half runners. Randall obviously is one of the 5 people who has a sub 3 PB. Yoszarian is a newer runner, but is every bit as capable of putting up a great time. And KingTrubbs also capable of putting up really good times. So this is a bit misleading to call this a bottom tier match. It was kind of thought of going in that 3 points was kind of, call it the group of death, and I think today we'll kind of see why that was the case. There's just really good runners here and really capable of putting up some solid times. So we're getting to this first Rattata fight. We will not learn anything about nature on KingTrubbs' side until we get to Caterpie. That's what I call a little perk of Pikachu. You actually get to learn a little bit about your stats because for whatever reason, Eevee gives one more experience point than Pikachu does when you fight it. So Pikachu hits level 6 on this Rattata fight that you're seeing Yoszarian do right now. And KingTrubbs will have his, or I keep calling him KingTrubbs, he goes by Matt. You'll see his show up here in just a second when he does this Caterpie fight in the forest. So forest is your first major catch section of this run. Generally, the players are looking for Pokemon that are just going to give them a lot of catches really easily. And the bugs are a perfect way to do that. You have one catch for Caterpie and each for Caterpie and Weedle, but those have evolved very quickly. So it's going to be helpful to get those catches as quickly as possible. Getting a look here at what Matt's nature is. It looked like it was a minus defense, so that's going to be runnable. So Matt's in good shape there. I didn't see what the plus nature was on it, but minus defense, that'll definitely be runnable. So just to give some context.
Minus defense, I guess the only thing is the Giovanni fight. But
yes, yeah. That probably costs you a turn.
But that's totally
probably
fine.
Cost you a turn on that Geo fight. You probably need to heal, but by and large, I mean, one turn versus the half dozen or so turns at least if you had minus attack or minus special attack. Yeah, Matt will take that every time. So just to give some context on for those who are newer to this run, you're like, wait a minute. Normally Pokemon speed runs, it's, hey, let's get our starter, our really overpowered poke, take it to the promised land, and knock out the champion, what have you. That is not the case in this game. You cannot do that. In major part because each gym has a gym requirement that you have to fulfill before you're actually allowed to go in and fight the gym. This first gym requirement actually is find a grass or a water type Pokemon. There are exactly 0 water type Pokemon that you can actually find in this part of the game. So, commentary bingo card holders, you can add that one to your bingo squares. So you pretty much have to. Oh, is this a Wombo?
I believe that was a Wombo, yeah, for Randall. And
yes.
Matt unfortunately had a breakout already on the Caterpie. Gets that on the second ball.
Yeah, unfortunate. Costs some time, obviously, and you get less experience as a result. So in Brock's gym, you're looking for a grass type. So in Eevee, you'll be looking for a Bellsprout. In Pikachu, you'll be looking for an Oddish. So all of these runners will need to catch that either here in the forest or just to the north on Route 2.
Yeah, on Pikachu you will definitely need an Oddish because you use it. On Eevee you technically can get Bulbasaur and just use that to get into the gym, because you don't actually need to use the Bulbasaur or the Bellsprout.
Yep.
I guess you use it as a partner, but it's the same thing.
Exactly. So definitely on Randall's side, he'll be looking for that Oddish. We were talking about gym requirements. And the framework of this run is built around Koga's gym requirement. Koga requires that you have 50 Pokemon in order to get in. And 50 Pokemon it turns out that's quite a lot, considering there are 135 obtainable Pokemon in the game. Many of which you can't actually obtain before getting into Koga's gym. So catch counting, catch routing, optimizing experience, those are critical for this run. So it's, yeah, it will, we'll see that materialize. That also is reflected by the number in the top left corner of each player's tracker. You'll see a certain number out of 50. Here it's 4 out of 50, 6 out of 50, and that will continue to change as the run goes on based on the number of catches that they have. So we're seeing Randall just go ahead and leave Forest now. He is still looking for an Oddish, so he's going to do what's called Route 2 Roulette. And he's going to go ahead and be looking for this Oddish, and you can see he's now despawned the route because there was no Oddish. There are 4 spawns on this route, and if none of the 4 of them were Oddish, you just go ahead and go right back in the building there, and you get 4 new Pokemon. It does take a little bit of time. Personally, I do like to do this, just because the Oddish that you get is level 9 instead of being level 7, so you're a little bit better situated for the Brock fight. You also, there's 2 extra levels. Each level takes about 2 seconds, as you can see here on Randall's screen. You're seeing these level ups right now. Again, each one of those takes about 2 seconds. So instead of having a level 7, you have a level 9, so you skip those. You also skip learning the move Acid. So all in all, it's about a 6-second time save if you can quickly get Oddish from Route 2 Roulette. Of course, I say that, and you can easily be there 3 or 4 times before you actually get it. So that 6-second time save could quickly turn into 20 to 30 seconds of time loss.
Yeah, it can be really punishing if you don't find it. But sometimes you also don't find it in Forest, so you just kind of have to go for it anyway.
Yeah, I think in Pikachu, and Randall's actually going to get a Rattata here. Little extra experience, especially since it's a glowing rat. Glowing Pokemon in this game have a 1.5 times EXP catch multiplier. Sometimes, and we actually alluded to this earlier, you can actually have a supersize, which is a 4 times catch multiplier for experience. So that's just a lot of EXP. This one was a 1.5 times. Randall's Weedle was what we call a Wombo, so it was that 4 times catch experience multiplier. So you're already seeing he's got a ton of extra experience. You kind of want to be at that level 10-ish range going into Brock. That's pretty much a hard requirement on Eevee in order to get the move Double Kick, because you use Eevee on Brock, whereas in Pikachu you're using Oddish, so that's less important, but you still need to be working on that experience, because that comes into play for Misty's gym requirement, which is the second gym. She requires a level 15 Pokemon to enter the gym, and you're going to want your starter to be level 15 for that. So Randall doing some heavy work on that already, and now we're starting to get our first two entrants into Brock's gym, and we'll see the strategies diverge here a little bit between the 2 games. As we mentioned earlier, for Pikachu, this is the start of what we'll call Pika and Friends. We're going to go ahead and use Oddish for this fight because Pikachu just does not have a good time with rock ground types. Such
Technically, this is just Friends.
Yeah.
Pika's not actually used on this one yet.
Pika's taking a little snooze for this fight. Whereas we're going to go ahead and use Eevee on Matt's screen. It's not a 2 or 3 turn fight like it would be for Randall. Here you're relying for Matt on the move Double Kick, which will 2-shot the Geodude, and then once you use 1 Tail Whip, it will and two-shot the Onyx. So it's a 5-turn fight, very consistent 5-turn fight. And you're seeing on Randall's screen the Auto-Shoes Absorb, and that was actually really nice. That is not a guaranteed one-shot on that Onyx. Depends on how good your special attack on that Oddish is, but he does have it at level 10 because he had that glowing rat catch. So he actually did have that guarantee. So also getting the Beedrill here, which is great. That's the final evolution of the Weedle line. Get that done. You can get that out of the party. You're not getting those level ups while you're in Mount Moon. So again, saving time. That glowing rat catch really coming in handy here for Randall. And then Matt just finishing up his EV fight. Everything went according to plan. We've got Yoszarian starting up on his. All very similar in terms of catch count. Matt's got 1 fewer at 7. And Randall and Yoszarian both have 8. There's a very unscientific rule of thumb with this game that I'm sure there's going to be a copy pasta that emerges here in the chat as soon as I say it. Kind of an unscientific rule of thumb is that it's going to take about 30 seconds to get any particular Pokemon. Of course, there are caveats to that. There are limitations to that, but it's kind of a good gauge of like how close roughly are these runners, because we could actually have a situation where the catch counts vary considerably. Yaz and I actually raced yesterday, and he had like 38 Pokemon, and I had 31. So I was well ahead in terms of game progress, but as it turned out, once I was able to finally catch up on the catches, get closer to 50, he actually went ahead and took the lead on me. So it's again, not scientific, but it does kind of give you an indication of where the runners are at any given time. So as is custom with Pokemon Speedruns, we have a pretty major shop here to start. You get some X items for a couple of the Mount Moon fights. You get some Great Balls, because very quickly you find out that using just Pokeballs, as these Pokemon get higher level, is not exactly friendly. So getting those Great Balls. We have a Sneck over on Matt's screen. That's one of the bonuses that's available here. Randall running into another rat. He does not need that because he already caught one. But there's a couple of bonuses here that are available on Route 3 to runners in both games. Matt has already caught his one option for Eevee, then that's the Sneck or Ekans. Pikachu actually gets 2 of them. You can get, as Randall is getting here, a Sandshrew. You can also see Mankey here. So a couple of options for Pikachu, just the one for Eevee. But of course, Eevee also had the option of catching Pikachu back in Forest. So it all evens out. It's we're actually seeing quite a bit of leveling here on Matt's screen. I wonder if this was... In fact, I mean, this is like 4 levels on this Bellsprout. I have to believe this was a Wombo catch. So he's getting the Butterfree here as well. Again, very advantageous to get these bugs early. Get them out of your party. And Randall, we're seeing the same thing. You don't have to see him level while you're catching Pokemon in Mount Moon. So really nice to have those done. And Yoszarian also getting some significant leveling. All these runners are doing great on leveling. Again, we're shooting for level 15 by the time we hit Misty's gym. They're well on their way to that. And if they get, let's say they get bad catches in Mount Moon, like Clefairy doesn't show up, or Geodude doesn't show up, or maybe the throw goes awry, this is a nice hedge against that.
Randall coming back for Mankey?
Randall going for Mankey, so he's going to go ahead and get both bonuses here. Racking up that catch count here really quickly.
Yeah, they all got their bonuses here on Route 3.
Yeah.
Which is pretty nice for a race. You always want to get
Yeah, I was gonna say I wish that
higher
happened in
catch
all my
counts.
runs.
Yeah.
It
'Cause if
feels
you're
like
having-
you know.
If you're having higher catch counts early on, then you have a much safer late game.
Yep. So you can see Matt and Randall now heading into the quote scam Pokemon purchase. So you get scammed, air quotes, and pay an outrageous 500 Pokédollars for a Magikarp. It's the quickest catch in the game. So from our perspective, it is not a scam at all. But the game just makes fun of you because that's what you do to children when they make bad decisions. You make fun of them. So we're seeing on Yoszarian's screen, he's going ahead and doing this pretty big menu for Eevee, where you deposit any additional Pokemon. You teach the move Headbutt, which for Eevee is excellent. It gets the same type of attack bonus as a normal move. Plus, it's got a pretty good base power.
Oh, right.
And then you also lure. Pikachu, you'll see
Randall's
this on
doing
Randall's
Butterfree
screen.
strats. I'm sorry.
He's doing Butterfree strats?
Sorry, I had to mention it. I had a feeling when Randall said it earlier that this was gonna happen, and I like it.
Well. All right. So again, these runners have a good sense of humor about this too. We're gonna see some things that maybe we wouldn't normally see, and Butterfree strats definitely is among them. Normally, there you would two-shot that fight with
Oddish.
With Oddish, and not bother moving Butterfree up to the front. In fact, in many cases, you just don't even have Butterfree. So again, a little strat that you're able to do because of being higher leveled. So good adaptation, and albeit kind of a humorous one there from Randall. So I think it was a pretty decent play. So we're seeing the catches in Mount Moon starting up. Yoszarian is on that lower level where we usually try to focus our catch efforts. He got a glowing Clefairy, which is great. Clefairy is of the 3 Pokemon you tend to normally get, is the one that you really rely on for experience. So he's gone ahead and got that. In fact, he's already level 14, going on 15. He will already have enough EXP to go fight Misty once he gets through the additional fights. So he'll be fine there. In fact, all of our runners now have Clefairy. That's a big one. The 3 Pokemon you're generally looking for here are Clefairy, Paris, and Geodude. Now there is some variability if you can find some bonus Pokemon that, let's say we find a bigger pink thing, and the examples of those are Clefable and Chansey. Or if you find a very large rock snake. All of those are, I believe, 1% spawns, but they do exist, and each of them provides good experience if you can catch them. Each of them are also a little bit more difficult to catch, so risk-reward situation there for our runners if they come across any of them. So far, not seeing any of those 1% spawns, any of those bonus spawns. So I think we saw our runners. I think they all got Clefairy. They're all now getting Geodude.
Yeah.
We'll see if they can find Paris as well.
For all of them, I think. Randall and
I don't think
Matt
any of them
were not. Okay, there's a Paris. Both Randall and Matt
Paris.
couldn't get Double Moonstone because they were too late. They got a lot of catches early on. I'm not sure about Yoszarian, but I think Yoszarian was in time, but I'm not sure if it respawned.
Yeah, so our runners, before the run starts, set their clocks at like 11:33, 11:34, somewhere in there, with the idea of while they're in that room, the game rolls over from 11:59 to midnight, and at that point there's a 50% chance of a second Moonstone. So they'll pick up the Moonstone as soon as they get in the room, and then there's a 50% chance while they're in the room that Moonstone will respawn. So I don't think we saw that from any of our runners, unfortunately, but it's nonetheless worth a shot. Randall going ahead and getting his Paris here. So all of our runners have gotten their main 3 Pokemon that they're looking for here. So that's great. No trolling on the part of the game. We like to see that. Now we're seeing Eevee. So Eevee does this in a little bit different of an order. It waits until after going down in the basement to fight this Sandshrew. Normally, you fight that Sandshrew with Pikachu before you go down there. Since you still have Oddish in the front, of course, Randall had Butterfree in the front. So a little bit different routing here. And you're seeing, Randall deposit all his extra pokes, because again, you don't want to see those extra levels start to show up on those Pokemon that you don't need to level. We're going to keep Oddish in until level 21, or in Yoszarian and Matt's case, Bellsprout until level 21, for those to evolve into Clume and Weepinbell respectively. So that's
there's the big pink thing.
Clefable for Randall. Now, this is one of those 1% other pink thing spawns that we were talking about. Clefable, however, is the hardest of those 3 to catch. So you'll see Randall go double Great Balls. He'll throw a Raspberry at it. This has got about a 70% chance of getting in. Again, we hope to see it go in. If it does, it's just that extra, and he does go ahead and get the Clefable. Really nice catch there. It's again, you see that's about 1,000 EXP, and he has just got levels in spades right now. He's already up to level 17, almost level 18 on the Pikachu. So that's going to be really handy. He's going to have no issue with one-shotting Misty Starmie. He's going to have no issues one-shotting the Coughing on Nugget Bridge. So really nice for Randall to get all those extra levels. There will be time save throughout the run because this Pika is so good.
Yeah, all runners having a pretty good start, I'd say. All on pretty good catches and also experience.
Yeah, I admit, like, on a lot of my PB attempts, I'll be coming out of Mount Moon with 13, even 12 Pokemon, and you put a lot of pressure on yourself at trying to get pretty much every catch you need from there on out. If you're at 14, 15, 16 catches like these guys are, it makes a world of difference. And you're not under that sort of same pressure if there's something that's just not spawning on a route. Another Clefable for Randall, which is decided to block his route, so he had to kind of carefully skirt around it. So back going into the first Jesse and James fight. Of course, Jesse and James from the Pokemon series. So they've been brought into this game. This is kind of a remake of Pokemon Yellow, of course, with Pikachu and Eevee's options for starters. And so these fights kind of recreate that. One little wrinkle here is you can actually have double battles, like we're seeing on Matt's screen. So a little bit different here with Eevee versus how you do it in Pika. So Eevee, you're relying on Headbutt. He actually went to try and take out the Coughing. Unfortunately, did not get the Coughing KO. So he took a little bit of damage there. The Ekans is gone, however, and then the Bellsprout's going to go ahead and use Acid and take out the Coughing. So Matt is safely through that fight.
That's actually a little unfortunate, not getting the Coughing range at level 16. But...
Yeah, I was going to say that's unfortunate, and it might be a bit of a red flag for the attack stat of this Eevee. A lot of Eevees at 16 are going to go ahead and be able to take that out in one shot, but this probably signals to me that his attack AV is, or attack is not is not as good as it otherwise could have been. But we'll keep an eye on that as this run goes along. Yoszarian and Matt now out of Mount Moon, heading into Cerulean. In both cases, they are going to be teaching 3 moves for Eevee. Furious, do you want to talk about those 3 moves that Eevee learns?
Sure. They have the funniest names, as you can see. So we have 3 moves on Eevee. There's actually more, but these are the 3 that we'll be teaching here. One of them is Buzzy Buzz. Another one is Bouncy Bubble, and then the last one is Sizzly Slide. Buzzy Buzz is an electric type move. It's special. It does 90 power. Well, all of them have 90 power actually. And it always paralyzes, so it's extremely broken. And the same with the other 2. So Bouncy Bubble is a water type move that restores half the health that you took. And Sizzly Slide is a fire type move that always burns. So since Eevee can't really, this Eevee is very special, it can't evolve into one of the evolutions. This was basically the way to make it a little better, and so we have a bunch of moves that are extremely broken that can only be used by these Eevee to sort of cover all those evolutions.
Yeah, and again, it makes it very viable, very deep into this run. There simply comes a point where it won't be viable anymore, even despite these busted moves. And we'll go ahead and change to another Pokemon to be determined later in the run to make up for that. By the way, just a quick follow-up. I got a look at Matt's Eevee while he was teaching those 3 moves. And his Eevee is Gentle, which is minus defense plus special defense. So perfectly viable nature there. Obviously, you'd love to see plus attack or plus special attack or even plus speed, but it's fine.
Yeah, the one scenario where plus special defense is kinda handy is, I guess, here on this fight, because you won't take as much damage from Scald.
Yeah, and there is another moment where plus special defense can help, and I'll talk about that when I get there, because actually that's what I ran into yesterday during my run. So yeah, but Scald from Misty Star can really start to add up damage wise. So Eevee does have a little bit more trouble with this gym. It does have to take a hit from Starmie, whereas Pikachu has just learned another funny named move and only gets 1, unlike the 3 that Eevee gets, but it gets the move that's called Zippy Zap. So Zippy Zap is a 50 base power move, which always critical hits. So given the critical hit does 1.5 times the amount of damage, it's actually a 75 base power move in effect. Plus it gets your same type attack bonus, which is another 50% on top of that. And to have some even more fun with it, it has a +2 priority move, which means barring a +3 priority move, like Fake Out, always goes first. So it's very, very useful. And as you'll see on Randall's side, he won't get hit with any move at all by Starmie, whereas our Eevee runners, generally speaking, will have to take a hit from Starmie, which, again, it's usually Scald, and that has a 30% chance to burn, which is annoying. It has a chance to crit, it has a chance to do a lot of damage. So a little advantage there of Pikachu. Now we're heading into, with our 2 Eevee runners, we're heading into the Rival 2 fight. And this is kind of the first of a series of fights where we really see the power of the moves that our Eevee or Pikachu has gotten. This rival fight for Eevee is pretty much use super effective move, go burr. For Eevee, you just go ahead and headbutt. It'll generally take out the Pikachu, so that's 3 turns. A little extra turn for Pikachu because it has to face an Oddish, so it'll headbutt it twice. And then we head to... we actually got a burn on the Pika, but the burn damage ended up taking it out on Yoszarian's screen. So trying to get... With a good enough attack, Eevee, you can actually Fizzly Slide that instead of headbutting it. So he went for that, did not get the range, unfortunately, but the burn damage ended up taking it out anyway. So now we're heading on to Nugget Bridge as Randall finishes up his fight here with Eevee. Unfortunately, he got poisoned by that Bellsprout, so he's going to want to go ahead and heal that poison off after this fight. But these fights coming up here on Nugget Bridge are not, we're not going to say trivial. They're not trivial, but they're certainly for Eevee, they are just like custom built. The first 3 Pokemon for Eevee are Venonat, which can get hit by super effective Sizzly Slide. We've got the Psyduck, which can get hit by super effective Buzzy Buzz. And then we've got Sandshrew, which can get hit by super effective Bouncy Bubble, and in effect ends up being our little mini Pokemon Center there. So, fortunately for this part of the run, and by the way, Randall has not healed off the poison.
I believe
he probably figures...
Oh, actually no. I was thinking he might do it. Actually, I'm looking at the wrong screen. Maybe it will do it in the Sandshrew fight. Not sure.
Yeah, that might be it. Yeah, so because he's one-shotting these Pokemon, it's not actually costing him any experience.
It can cost him. Yeah, it's costing him here because he's getting status lag.
But yeah. It can cost him time, because as we saw there was that little poison animation. And that poison animation, when it comes up, it can cost in the neighborhood of 2 to 3 seconds. So usually you go ahead, you see poison, you're just like, okay, I don't want to see this status lag. Again, anecdotally, it happens half to maybe a third of the time, but you see it and you're just like, okay, I have to sit here and watch this thing, make random little poison bubbles, and you actually are seeing now that he's going to your point, Furious, he's going to go ahead and heal that poison off on this Sandshrew by 2C'ing the fight, and using, once again, Pika's friend Oddish to take out that Sandshrew, because that would not be an easy fight for Pikachu. He could 2-shot it with Headbutt, but figure it's going to be a 2-shot anyway. You've got to heal off the poison. So just bring out the second controller, heal off the poison, let Oddish take care of it, and keep going on your way from there. So we're getting into the back half of Nugget Bridge. These fights are getting a little bit cumbersome. Last time I commentated for one of these races, I stirred the pot a little bit here at this point in the run, and I'm going to do so again. Last time I asked whether a quesadilla was a sandwich. This time, in the spirit of summer, I'm going to have a similar question. Is a s'mores a sandwich?
Chat is saying yes.
Okay. We're saying yes. Consensus is that a s'mores is indeed a sandwich. Excellent. We have some dissent. Sandwiches use bread. And I suppose it would... graham cracker is technically not bread. So that generated less debate than I was hoping for. Oh well. So we just had Matt and Yoszarian do a kind of a cheeky trainer skip there, just going between the sightline of a couple of trainers that you would otherwise hit by kind of doing like a little serpentine thing, a little S shape going around them. that'll be the first of a couple of different little technical skips in this run. This one was probably the easiest of those. There are some that require a little bit more effort, and we'll call those out when you see them. Interesting to see Yoszarian and Matt really both neck and neck in both catch count, and Randall actually adding to his already voluminous catch count with Venonat. Venonat is a trap, but okay, he hits it with the double Great Ball. Let's see if it stays down, because it was not a judged throw. Yep, it stays down. So yet another catch for Randall. That takes him up to 17.
I guess with 2C Great Balls, it's probably pretty reasonable, even if not in the circle. But I am surprised Randall going for this.
An interesting question from Mocha in the chat: is breaded chicken a sandwich?
Well, what do you think?
I don't know. I'm thinking about this as we go. As our runners are talking to Bill, changing him back from a Pokemon into a person, and Randall finishing up this last fight before he does the same thing. Is breaded chicken a sandwich? That's a tough one. I feel like that one is like... It's like the bread is built into the substance of the sandwich. So I would say no to a sandwich on that one, whereas I'd be more inclined to say yes to like a s'mores or a quesadilla, because the bread is actually like part of the filling, you know what I mean? So I would say that's not a sandwich. Is a Big Mac a cake? I don't know about that, but it certainly got the calories of a cake. So now we have Detective Eevee on our Eevee runner screens, trying to uncover where this burglar went. Oh, look, there's a giant hole in the wall. I think that's where they might have gone. And then we are going to, of course, because we are here for truth, justice, and the American way, all three of these runners are American, we then take the criminal and run right past him. So onward to Route 5, and we're going to get to a very important section of the catch route here in just a second, which is Route 6. It's not as important for our Eevee runners. You'd like to see, ideally, a Jigglypuff, a Vulpix, and if Abra wants to show up, awesome. Go ahead and get it. For Randall, Pikachu, there is one Pokemon that's pretty much a soft requirement to proceed, and that is Growlithe. And you will be using Growlithe as a ride later on. Plus, you'll be using it in multiple fights, including aboard the SSN, which is the cruise ship that is parked in Vermilion City. So, very important for Randall to get that poke. Again, you could theoretically keep on moving if you're mad at Yoszarian. I would say, if I'm on their catch count, and just keep on rolling through, I'd be a little bit concerned to not get anything on Route 6, but it's salvageable.
I'm interested to see what Randall is going to be doing, actually, because Randall's Pikachu is already level 20.
Yeah.
So it's close to getting T-Bolt.
Yeah, and
I believe you can do 1C. 1C on the Bolt
rival
with T-Bolt.
So that is...
You will need a catch for it, but...
Yeah. Still will need Growlithe.
Yeah, you still want Growlithe regardless because of the later fights, but yes.
Right, yeah. The Route 9 fights, you still need it for. There's a Sandshrew, there's a Gloom. It just... Pokemon that are just bad news for Pikachu. Okay, so we're seeing Route 6 for Matt, and he's going to go ahead and catch a nice little glowing Vulpix. Yoszarian, I believe, got a Pidgey.
Yeah.
So he's going to keep that in his party, let it level up one level to evolve into Pidgeotto. He'll pass on Pidgeot, which you would otherwise catch on Route 17. Or you would otherwise catch a Pidgey on Route 17, let it evolve twice. So he'll pass on that for this run. As we see Matt get the Vulpix, was not a super size for him, but he's already in pretty good shape from an experience perspective. He's level 19. Interesting little threshold there of Yoszarian getting a Jigglypuff. Interesting little threshold for Eevee. Oh, as Matt hits one of the Vermilion Skip trainers.
So for those of you who aren't aware, you can actually skip both of these trainers if you walk more or less in the middle of them. It's a little tight, but you can skip them. It's not too bad if you hit one of them, because especially if you're an Eevee, because they both should just die to one hit. But it is time loss.
And you actually get 2 Great Balls from it. So you can actually adjust your shop in Vermilion accordingly. Like if you want another Repel, and Yoszarian actually going back for a Vulpix here. I'm going to go and Matt had no trouble with the optional trainer he fought there in Vermilion. I'm going to keep an eye on Randall's screen at the moment, just because I want to see. Okay, he's going to catch a Pidgey first, doing the same thing that Yoszarian did, catching the Pidgey. He's going to forego the Pidgey on Route 17, which could get him Pidgeot, but it's probably a safer play. Pidgey is only a 5% spawn on Route 17, so just going to take it here, get the 2 Pokemon from leveling at. Also gets you a little bit of extra experience. Not that Randall needs it, but just to get these 2 Pokemon, get them out of the way, so you're not feverishly looking for a Pidgey or a Pidgeotto later. Okay, Randall going for a Jigglypuff. So he's caught Pidgey, he's caught Jigglypuff. Really what he's looking for now is that Pupper, that Growlithe. He really wants to see one here soon.
Yoszarian going for the skip here. Gets it, pretty clean.
And Yoszarian is through on the skip. Nice job there.
No, I didn't check, but I assume Pika is 21 or close to 21?
Pika is just a smidge under 21 right now.
Okay.
So he's really looking for that Growlithe. And you see he's
reset
probably
the
going to despawn the route here. Oh, there it is. And the Growlithe decided to kind of run off to Narnia there. But he's gone ahead. He's found the Growlithe. And that'll do multiple things. One, you'll have that companion poke for Route 9. And this will get Pikachu to level 21, so it'll learn Thunderbolt. Curious to your point, let's see what his strategy is when it comes to Boat Rival, because there is the option to go ahead and use 1C. Usually that's a 2C fight where you use Growlithe's companion poke, but he has the option here to just do the one. Where is Matt going? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I went from the. I thought he was. I thought he turned the other way going on the boat. I'm just gonna take a sip of water.
You scared me for a sec. I was like, wait, hold on.
I'm just gonna take a sip of water and pretend that didn't happen. This is what happens.
Doing the skip.
Pretty
clean.
Yep. No problem for Randall.
Matt's also scared. Okay.
Sorry, Matt. Sorry. I'll go sit in timeout now, okay? This is what happens when you're trying to watch 3 screens at once. And I can tell you, I will say, the feed coming through on my screen is a touch blurry. We'll call it that. But we're making it work. So again, as Randall is doing this shop, and Matt and Yoszarian have already done it. This is kind of the second big shop of the run, and honestly, this shop takes you really for the next hour and a half. You're loading up on potions, you're loading up on lures, you're loading up on great balls, X attacks, X special attacks. So this is a big shop. The notes go into some detail. There are even different permutations of that shop based off of how many Pokeballs do you have. You can change the shop based on what your needs are. Like if you have, like in Matt's case, you fought the optional Vermilion Skip Trainer. You have 2 Great Balls already, so do you switch? It's one of those areas in which this game is very much a, hey, let me look at my circumstances. What's the best route forward for me? So big shop there, and we'll provide a lot of the items for the rest of.
Did Randall get the
rest of
perfect cutscene, like movement there?
I think he did.
I think he did. It's a very, very tiny optimization. It's really hard to actually do. So it's kind of crazy that he got it.
The trainer, it's just the way that works is, if you don't hit it just right, and I mean just right, your trainer has to turn a little bit towards rival, and that takes a couple of frames to do. So it looks like in this case, Randall hit that perfectly, and his girl Go Power did not have to make that extra turn, and just saved him a couple of frames.
Randall's still doing 2C, even with the T-Bolt. Yep. So gonna opt for the standard strat, I guess. Which is totally fine.
You hit the one on the right. There you go. Alright, so one of the perks of hitting the Vermilion Skip Trainers is you don't have to worry about it on the way up, you just have to remember which one you hit. So Randall finishing up. So you're seeing a slightly different version of this fight with Pika. You're seeing Growlithe again serving as a companion, mostly for this Pokemon, Oddish, because the Pika can't take it down in one shot. Growlithe comes in with its flamethrower that it knows at level 17, because this game is clearly balanced. And having one of the strongest fire-type moves at level 17 is just something Growlithe has. So it just finishes off the Oddish with ease. Speaking of using Flamethrower, we are at Route 9 for Matt. And we're about to see a string of Pokemon that otherwise would be a problem for just Pikachu. From an Eevee perspective, you can go ahead and 1C these, because Pika does have, or Eevee does have, that broader moveset. With that said, this Eevee is a troll. It has Growl, it has Tail Whip, and it has Sand Attack. So you use one guard spec, which in effect takes away all those potential effects in one item. And you only buy one throughout the entire run, and it's for that fight and that fight alone. Not quite getting the range there on the Eevee, unfortunately. Again, I think Matt's Eevee's probably a little bit lower on the attack front than he would normally like to see.
Yeah, that range is also not that easy to hit, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But taking out the Gloom, no problem. Admittedly, I am used to Pika, where again we'll see Randall 2C this fight, and
yeah,
the Eevee just.
There is the option to 2C the fight with Eevee when you know you have a good range with Headbutt.
Yeah.
Because in that case you can just skip the guard spec and just X attack Headbutt immediately. But that's also something usually you wanna know beforehand. because you don't want to buy the guard spec if you're gonna do that. So yeah.
Randall running into some Growlithes on his way back. That's just kind of insulting, given his his Route 6 took a while.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
It sounds like he had no problem with the skip on the way back, and neither did Yoszarian, so...
Yeah, as we see Randall expressing some frustration about the puppers deciding to show up late here in the chat. Matt finishing up on another kind of scary fight against this Raticate, which is the last fight there on Route 9, assuming these two skips.
So Matt hitting
scary.
an optional, another optional.
Oh no!
Is not the greatest optional to hit. I forget what she has. Goldeen, okay. But I think she has 2 pokes. Yeah, 2 pokes.
Yeah, I was gonna say Goldeen is fine, really, for both versions. It's just more time. I feel like her next Pokemon is that is very low on HP now.
Does this Goldeen not have quick attack? That's okay. Hopefully it'll be fine.
If it doesn't,
Pidgeotto.
this Eevee can still... Oh, Pidgeotto.
Yeah, this is the correct play, I'd say.
It's still okay. Number one, you can bring in a support trainer. You sacrifice the Bellsprout here if this doesn't KO. He'll use an a Super Potion. Try and knock out the Pidgeotto. My guess is it won't go down. It does not. Oh, but it does get the full paralysis. So that turned out okay. All told. No damage there. You do get a heal after Route 10 anyway, before you fight, spoiler alert, Team Rocket, who randomly decides to show up. But still, you want to keep the Pokemon alive if you can help it. Taking a look at Matt's Route 10 here, he's got a couple of crabs on screen. I see a rat there as well. I see 2 rats and 2 crabs.
Not the best start, but I've seen worse.
Yeah, shout out to this fine commentator's 2 Fearos and Eradicate, plus a crab from yesterday's run. Fortunately, in that instance, and I think there's a decent chance we'll see it here. If you do run into a problem here, you can just go ahead and repel off the spawns, set out another lure, and you get 4 new spawns to work with.
I could work with Hero. But yeah, not ideal.
I can't.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest catch-heavy sections in the game. It's going to extend as well to Rock Tunnel. And it's usually where you really can tell whether a run is could make it or could make it far or die. It's where usually most runs die. Because it really depends on...
We're seeing that from Matt, we're seeing more rats, we're seeing the repel strat.
Yeah, because you need to catch a lot of stuff here, and if you get really unlucky, you can just lose so much time because you're just not getting spawns.
There's Nidoran male, that's a nice spawn. And Randall also getting a Nidoran male. That is critical for Pika, because you will use Nidoking going forward. Again, another example of Pika and friends. Nidoking is a very, very good friend to have, particularly for Pika. So, getting that Nidoran male right away, and we'll probably get a little extra experience on it as a result. Yoszarian is going to go for this Raticate here on screen. Nice little experience bump if you can get it. I don't think he used a Raz, and only gets a Great. That's a bit unfortunate, because you want to get as much experience out of this as you can. But fortunately, it does stay in the ball. He does get that first ball catch bonus, so that works out well for him. Yeah, and so for Yoszarian, he's going to go ahead and evolve that Bellsprout into Weeping Bell. That could finally get out of his party. All of our runners now just getting whatever catches they can. A little bit rough here for Randall as well, just seeing a couple more Nidoran males and a Nidorino, so he's going to clear those out.
There's a Spearow.
Okay, that's
better.
That's a better spawn. I know Matt also caught a Spearow. Krabby on Yoszarian's screen. Certainly not the worst spawn. It's a little less optimal because Krabby does take 4 levels to evolve. But still, you see it, you catch it.
Yeah, and you need pokes to have in your party anyway, so it's not like you're gonna have a problem with space most of the time, so it's fine to have those pokes for a while.
Randall has probably the 3 pokes now that he needs out of this route. Can always catch Rattata, Raticate down the line if he wants
Randall
to.
already had small rat from.
He already had Rattata.
Could get a big rat for experience, but yeah.
He'll be fine.
Probably gonna go here. Okay, still waiting to see what the last spawns are. Yeah, it's not good.
He's just gonna go ahead and leave.
It's not the best, but it's also not the worst rock sign I've seen, so.
Yeah, again, this is the luxury of that higher catch count earlier on.
Exactly.
In the game, right? So, whereas if he were at 18 or 19 pokes, he'd probably want to be like, okay, I need to stay around. I need that Rattata to show up. I need that Krabby to show up. Well, in his case, it would be Raticate. But he does not have to do that here with his catch count. Yoszarian is also going to call it quits here. Again, 26 catches. So he's in good shape on his catch count. This is shaping up to be a pretty close race. All of our runners in the same general location, similar catch counts, and now they're all going to this rocket. And so for Pika, you can see Randall is going to headbutt, try and get the flinch turn 1, and then come back with a double kick to take it out. You can do that at level 23. Level 22, you're generally using Thunderbolt, or level 21 if you're really that low. Eevee, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you burned this? Or you paralyzed this?
No, you headbutt. So usually...
Either.
So the absolute safest strat would be to do what you do for the other one, I guess, which would be you could paralyze it and then headbutt twice, but usually you're going to be high enough level to just 2-shot with headbutt, so that's usually what you do.
Yeah.
For the previous fight, it's a lot harder
fight.
to get the 2-shot with headbutt, so some runners will opt to Buzzybuzz first, and then headbutt twice, or just headbutt twice and then scissor side to finish it off, or something like that. For this one, it's usually fine.
Now into Rock Tunnel, really good set of spawns for Randall. He's already got a Rhyhorn on screen, which will be his ride Pokemon throughout Rock Tunnel, and for the kind of the mid portion of this game. So he'll be able to go through Rock Tunnel a lot faster than he otherwise would have. But he caught this Zubat first. Yoszarian also with a Zubat on his screen. So getting those initial catches. Matt finding Cubone. I always like to get Cubone because, in my experience, it's kind of hard to see. So when it just kind of spawns in front of you like that, you're like, okay, I will take that, just so I don't have to. Because, as you can see, Rock Tunnel is all in the dark, and it makes absolutely no sense to get the equivalent of a Flash HM here. It's way out of your way. It would take way too much time. So you're doing this route in the dark. So getting that Cubone, which again I think is one of the harder things to just see, is nice to get that out of the way. Randall getting that Rhyhorn catch here.
Actually, I have a question. If you've ever seen what Rock Tunnel is like without it being dark.
In this game, I have not.
It is surprisingly not what I expected when I first looked at it. Because it actually doesn't look that much like the backgrounds here.
Interesting.
It has a lot of sand, I believe.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wouldn't expect that.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting. I only figured it out a while back. I mean, I guess I must have noticed it when I played it casually, but I just don't remember. But it is pretty interesting.
Randall does not need that Geodude he just ran into.
Oh, I almost forgot something. So, Matt, so there is one particular spawn here that could be showing up, which is Kangaskhan, that normally runners won't be going for, but Matt has seen a Kangaskhan on both round 1 and round 2. So we are wondering if we're going to be seeing it.
Kangaskhan is a very difficult Pokemon to catch. If we were playing all obtainable Pokemon, Kangaskhan would be a sight for sore eyes for these runners. But generally, in this, there are other Pokemon that are far easier to catch, and you'll opt for those instead of trying to go for that. Interesting to see the 2C here on Slowpoke for Matt. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get the one shot. Yoszarian taking care of this Kangaskhan fight. That Kangaskhan is another dangerous poke. When it starts critting, you know, it can actually, with minus speed, you can actually be slower than it. It can be scary. Okay, and then Yoszarian gets Graveler, which is kind of the experience bomb here in Rock Tunnel. You really want to see one. You get about 1,200 experience for a non-glowing one. It's really critical to get that extra experience, get that Eevee in his case up just a little bit higher. You know, you want to see Eevee if you can get there. You want to see Eevee get to level 28 before you hit Rocket Hideout because it learns the Double Edge. Oh, also seeing a Rhyhorn on Matt's screen. That's great for him. Getting that, so he'll be able to hasten his journey through the dark rock tunnel a little bit faster. So good catch there. But yeah, for Eevee, you do, in an ideal world, you would see level 28 to get Double Edge. You would teach that over Headbutt. It's a 120 power base move, and it just knocks out a lot of things that you would not be able to otherwise. So it really accelerates, particularly the Rocket segment. Once we hit Rocket Hideout, it's certainly not required, but it's just one of those things where if you can get things like a glowing Graveler, like what we were seeing on Matt's screen, which is about 1,800 experience, assuming it's not Wombo, you can just get ever closer to that amount, and just makes the next portion of the game just that much easier. And Randall getting trolled by an Onix. It gets past it.
Yeah, Onix has a really weird hitbox. Randall taking advantage of it to basically walk right through it there.
Yeah, and Yoszarian not so lucky as he runs into Onix. Yeah, he had no chance to avoid it. That thing just spawned right on top of him. Yeah, if you run into an Onix, you can kind of get around it just by going over it, like the tip of its tail. If you try to go anywhere near its head, honestly, like you'll be.
There's a Kangaskhan on Yoszarian's screen.
Oh, okay.
Not on Matt.
I thought you were gonna say on Matt's screen. I'm like,
not
oh,
on
no,
Matt.
here we go.
Not yet. not what you want to see, especially when Yoszarian doesn't have a Rhyhorn yet.
Yeah,
You can ride the Kanga. It is very slow, but you can.
Yoszarian is still getting that nice leg workout. Unfortunately, there's no actual benefit to getting a leg workout in this game. But his player.
Hey, there's a Kanga on Matt's screen.
know what would be hilarious if he just like threw a Pokeball at
him. I don't. It's you can't. I don't think you can actually. You can do it in other games. You can't do it on this one, I believe. Prediction could be yes. But I mean, no one picked yes, so no one stands to gain from it. I think I'll wait until I see the replay.
Another Onyx shows up. They're just popping up everywhere now. Dad is level 26. That's getting pretty close to that level 28 threshold we were talking about just now. So Matt actually does have a good chance of being able to get double edge at some point.
Yeah, unfortunately Matt already got basically the big things in terms of experience. So you may get it. I think you'll still get it, but it might be a little later than you would hope.
Yeah.
Because you can basically use double edge pretty much starting with that Kanga trainer. Well, technically you should even use it earlier, but what are the odds of you having double edge by route 10?
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot of fights here that where you can make use of double edge, but yeah, you need to have it. And Hideout is probably the section where it's gonna be more of an impact. And there's a good chance it's gonna have it by Hideout.
But just looking at the trackers, Randall is actually having a little bit of a rough rock tunnel here. He's looking still for both Cubone and Graveler. So a little disappointing that he didn't get a little bit more in there than he, especially with Graveler being that that really good source of experience. Now he did have a bunch of experience going in.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not.
That'll
Matt is not
handy.
catching that. So that will mitigate. But you would still like to see that Graveler for him. The Cubone you can theoretically catch in Pokemon Tower. I say theoretically because it is not a common spawn. But you're seeing his Pikachu's only level 26, whereas before he would have been on a trajectory to get, level 27, level 28. Some of that experience that he's not getting from Graveler, I think, is showing up here. Yoszarian running into another
Okay, I could be
Let's
cooked,
see.
but I think I saw Kanga on Matt's screen before the fight, but I'm not sure. Might have been something else.
The Randall out of Rock Tunnel, again, no Cubone, no Graveler, but I would say he's still in very good shape from a catches perspective.
Okay, it's not.
He'll be okay in all likelihood. Just a little disappointing. You'd like to see that there, just to again get rid of some of the uncertainty.
Matt cutting real close there. Almost hit the optional.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yoszarian got a Rhyhorn in the meantime, which is pretty nice. All of them have Rhyhorns. And yeah, Randall not having the greatest rock tunnel, but the higher catch count early on sort of mitigates that a bit.
Matt, it looks like is still looking for Machop. So I saw him.
And Kanga.
And Kanga, yes, Kanga, very good. Okay. Yes, probably not going to get Machop out of that. Again, all three of these runners are in pretty good shape from a catch perspective. 30's maybe a little on the lower side, but he's still okay. Yeah, and Matt's just going to leave here. Yeah, like 30, 32, 33 for our three runners. They're all okay. when you start to see high 20s, mid 20s, which has definitely happened to me before, that you really start to worry. So these trainers are all heading into the rival 4 fight. We've already faced this guy now 4 times in an hour and 18 minutes. It's like, when will we finally stop facing this guy? It's like the game will have to end before we finally stop facing him. So a little bit different here between the 2 versions. Eevee employs the services of that newly caught Rhyhorn. So Rhyhorn's just really critical from an Eevee perspective. Really for both games, it's very important. But we're seeing Nidoking there on Randall's screen. That's the standard strat to take out both this Jolteon and this Gloom. You're essentially you set up Nidoking with a couple of X attacks and then just let it go to work. Whereas here you can with Eevee, you've got a little bit more move coverage, so you can actually kind of double team this Raichu with Bouncy Bubble and Trill Run, and then the Eevee can take care of Gloom with the help of an X attack, as well as a. I'm always going to get these 3 moves confused. It's Sizzly Slide, right? The fire one.
Fire one is Sizzly Slide, yes.
Yeah. So takes care of that. We're seeing similar fight here for Matt. Again, Bouncy Bubble plus Drill Run equals hopefully Goodbye Raichu, and yes, that's exactly what happens.
So now it's time for the Clefairy fight, so get your metronomes in chat. It won't be... You won't be having any metronomes on Randall's side, I'm assuming, because Poison Jab.
Right, he's got Nidoking out front. They use Poison Jab in this game. Clefairy maintains its fairy typing from newer generations, so it is weak to poison, so Poison Jab just goes in on that. Whereas our Eevee runners, the Eevee in neither case is 28, so neither runner has double edge. So they'll go ahead and use Headbutt.
Which can flinch, which means
will
if
not
you
KO.
flinch, if you flinch, you won't see a metronome, but we want to see a metronome.
Yeah, we'd like to see one. We'd like to see... Okay, here's what we want to see. We want to see something humorous but benign. Even something like a self-destruct. Okay, and there goes that Clefairy for Randall. I think we'd like to see something humorous but benign. Self-destruct, it actually saves you half a turn. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage. This Clefairy doesn't have very good attack, and it's not sad.
Splash, that's pretty funny.
Thrash is pretty funny.
Splash, that was Splash.
Splash? Sorry, again, my screen's a little blurry here today.
Yeah.
So,
that's fine.
So,
Splash is pretty funny.
Yeah, that's a good meme. I didn't see what
Randall catching something, I'm not sure. Oh, it's a rat.
Oh, he's going for the Raticate that he didn't see back on Route 10, but he's having some trouble with it. He's already burned an Ultra Ball there, so kind of file that away. Like, is he gonna then go ahead and pick up the Ultra Balls in basement to try to make up for this? But he does get the catch. He does get some experience from it, not as much as if he had caught it first ball.
I am very disappointed in Matt. So Matt doing 2C for the Clefairy to avoid the metronome.
Oh, come on, Matt!
Doing +2 headbutts. I am very disappointed.
Oh, come on! We want content. See, Metronome Splash is content. Seeing, come on.
Yeah, Randall.
It's a safe fight. There's nothing bad that can happen. You don't get Metronome countered or anything that would just take you out, or Metronome like minimize or something that would just troll you. Yeah.
Yeah, this
Matt robbing us of serious content.
So Matt actually going to the Firestone area, which is something you don't usually see in Eevee. You see it all the time in Pika because Pika actually wants the Firestone because of Arcanine. Eevee can use a Firestone later, but it's usually we're gonna pick up another one. That's just more convenient, I guess, because we don't really have the requirement of getting like Arcanine or whatever. Well, we can't get it because we don't have Growlithe. But Matt actually going there to get some pokes.
And it doesn't destroy 2 shrubberies.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're heading towards Celadon game corner for each of our trainers here. In all cases, we got to make sure we teach. We got to teach. For Eevee, we teach the move Glitzy Glow, which is a psychic type move, which puts up a light screen. So nice offensive and defensive move for Eevee. Also helpful against psychic types, or poison types, obviously. And even more importantly, we talked to this woman who is for some reason named Madame Celadon. I guess we're glad that she lives in Celadon City. It'd be a little weird. It's like, oh look, Madame Celadon in Vermilion City. I guess she was kind of predestined to live here in Celadon. But she will fix the nature of all wild encounters for the rest of the day. And we want to fix our encounters to be of a modest nature, which is plus special attack, minus attack. And that will be for a very important Pokemon that we catch later that no one here knows about at all. Nope. You do not know what's coming next.
So Yoszarian just got double edge, I mean. It's not gonna be super useful because it's getting it pretty late, but I'm guessing he will use it for this next fight, and that's probably gonna be it.
Yeah, usually the notes say if you get to level 28 after this Hypno that Randall's actually fighting right now, generally speaking, you don't teach double edge because the Hypno is the fight that it's really, really useful for. You can use it to your point on this fight, but
at this point, it's just it's debatable whether it's actually worth it to teach it just for this one fight, but
because you can't use it. You can't use it against the Grimer. You can't use it in the J&J fight. You can't use it against Archer.
You can technically use it on Giovanni, but it's an absolutely desperate play that you should not really be going for.
Yeah.
And you need pretty good attack for it anyway, so.
Again, a pretty major fight section here. We are starting to see some of the level pressure. The levels of these opposing Pokemon are into the upper 20s already. You can see Matt actually just got to 28 on his Eevee, and unlike Yoszarian, just said, no, I'm not going to bother with double edge. Actually, they both hit 28 on the same fight. On Randall's screen, we're seeing kind of the Pikachu rendition of this. You're relying on Nidoking, except for this next fight where Nidoking just doesn't have a whole lot of answers for a Grimer. So that's where you bring your Pikachu back to say, hey, Pika, I know this is like Pika and friends, but you gotta, you gotta carry your weight here a little bit. So, so we'll see Pikachu here again to take out this Grimer. So Yoszarian is now doing a totally safe Pokétax approved thing, which is standing on a rolling chair. Yeah, Pokétax Attorney does not sanction standing on a rolling chair. The law office as a Pokétax Attorney would not approve of that behavior. So yeah, kids at home, don't stand on rolling chairs. But getting the lift key, and then the lift key will take our runners to the other section of Rocket Hideout to face your big three of this section, which are your Jesse and James fight, your Archer fight, and your Giovanni fight. And those fights, you know, we were just saying the levels start to go up here pretty quickly. Those Pokemon on those fights are all mid-30s, so it takes some strategery to take out those fights, and again, some adaptation based off of which Pokemon do you have, what levels are your Pokemon, what stats do your Pokemon have. So I'd welcome, you know, if you're interested in this game, take a look at the notes. It's kind of almost like a flow chart of like, okay, you caught Rhyhorn, congratulations, do this strat. Your Rhyhorn has these stats. Okay, do this. You didn't catch Rhyhorn, sad face, do this strat. So it's all very well laid out, like, here's how you do it. We'll probably see at least some variations, certainly because we have two different versions of the game. Randall will, in all likelihood, not use Pikachu for this Jesse and James fight. That'll be one of the instant differences that we see here. So we're seeing Eevee, Rhyhorn, which is kind of your standard for Eevee version. Glitzy Glow, using Rhyhorn as kind of your nutrients buddy. Almost KOing the Arbok there. Not quite enough. Essentially load up the Eevee with X special attacks, and you take out both Pokemon using Glitzy Glow. Then we'll see a little bit of a contrast with Pikachu, where we're not actually using Pikachu. We'll use our good old pal Rhyhorn, just like we do here, but we're going to be using Nidoking. And Rhyhorn will actually be the one doing the work on this fight using its move Drill Run. Drill Run is a ground type move, super effective, obviously, against both of these poison type Pokemon. It can be a little bit scary because Drill Run is a move, specifically a move that has 95% accuracy. And that 5% seems to kick in at just the worst possible times. Fortunately, Randall gets the one-hit KO of Arbok, so that's a great start to this fight, and he actually gets the two-turn by KOing the Weezing. So perfect fight there for Randall. I mean, the only way it could have even been better was not getting Nidoking hit at all, which you never ever see. So great fight there. We're seeing Matt going through that as well. We're seeing Yoszarian start up on Archer. So a lot to see here in this segment against some pretty scary trainers. So it looks like on Matt's screen the Arbok is down, just trying to take out the Weezing, and he does. He actually went a little bit differently. He took more of a Pika approach and used Drill Run, using Eevee as more of your nutrients buddy, if you will. So interesting that he went that route. Yoszarian taking out the Weezing. A little bit of a risky strat from Randall, but it is a nice strat in Pikachu. Actually using Headbutt turn 1 on the Weezing to try to get him to flinch. Unfortunately did not get the flinch, and the Pikachu ended up taking a pretty significant amount of damage. Usually the play is just Thunderbolt that, and you know, Thunderbolt both turns, then heal on the second turn. So he's going to have to heal out of battle here. So it'll be a little bit of time loss. Meanwhile, the other two Archer fights look like they're both going quite well. Oh, a crit on Matt's Rhyhorn.
That's fine.
Not a major problem. Just a little bit annoying that he has to bring on a new poke. But that's not an issue. He's done what he needed to do with Rhyhorn there. Okay, so we're seeing the Giovanni fights, and it'll be a great little setup and contrast between the two versions. Pikachu, you're seeing a 2C fight where essentially you set up to +6 on the Pikachu, and then Zippy Zap the Persian to take it out, and then you come back on the Rhyhorn, double kick it, and use Helping Hand to take it out. You're seeing on Yoszarian's screen, you're seeing the 1-turn or the 1C Eevee fight, which essentially involves burning the Persian so that its attack gets halved, and then you come back, given the Persian's just done a ton of damage to you, you take a nice big sip out of the Rhyhorn and get all that HP back. So 2 ways of doing it.
Matt's actually going to have a bit of a harder time here because he's minus defense.
Yes.
Which means
so
this Persian is actually going to do a lot more damage than it already does. So hopefully things work out for him.
Crits are, as always with these games, crits are scary. Persian has the high crit rate move Slash, and you do not want to see Slash crits under really any circumstances.
Okay.
Actually, no Slash crit there. That was good. So this is the difference. You have to go ahead and heal here. But again, no crit there from the Persian. So far, so good. And Matt's through. So again, an extra turn there because of the minus defense, but gets through the fight. Following up on something we were talking about before, Randall is going to go ahead and pick up those extra Ultra Balls there in the basement because he used 2 on the Raticate he was catching in that patch of grass earlier. So nice little backup strat as well as adaptation to kind of an adverse event there. So nice job to work through that there on the fly. Speaking of fly, we get the equivalent of the HM fly here from this nice gentleman who gives us some sort of vehicle with balloons. So we're going to use that, go back to Lavender, do something with Cubone that I should definitely know what the whole plot is, but sure. So point is, we've got a couple more trainers to knock out in Pokemon Tower. We're going to be looking for a Ghastly if we can find it. Not really for all 3 of our trainers or all 3 of our runners here. If Randall can find a Cubone, a useful Tower Cubone is a myth, but it could actually happen on this run. We could see a useful Tower Cubone.
I believe.
Yeah, I believe. But no, I don't really believe.
Matt not getting the Ultra Balls.
I believe. Yep. Again, good marathon safety strat just to get those.
Well, Matt's not getting them, so going all in, but it's usually fine. It's mostly like, it depends on what you have to catch still. If you have a lot of stuff to catch in the late game. So if you're like, I don't know, 30 pokes or even less at this point, which could happen, then getting the Ultra Balls is probably the smart thing to do. With this catch count, I would go either way. I don't know. It depends. It could still backfire
but-
not getting those, but it could still be fine.
Yoszarian has a Ghastly on his screen, so once he fights this this channeler, he will probably be looking to catch this, and he does. Yoszarian using Tower Lure, which is, I know, a source of controversy among the community because it doesn't seem to do a whole lot. Normally, a lure will increase the frequency that Pokemon appear. Anecdotally, that doesn't really seem to be the case in Tower. But it worked out just fine for Yoszarian because he gets his Ghastly. He actually canceled the second lure because he's like, I've already got it. I don't need to catch anything else while I'm here. I'm good to go. So nice catch there. And he'll keep moving on. Randall taking care of another one of these channelers. You have to.
That was a
fight
little
two of
scary
them.
from Matt, but okay.
Yeah.
Matt is having some really scary movement today with optionals.
Yeah. And Randall picking up a backup hyper potion, again, just some race safety. I kind of wish I known that hyper potion was there yesterday. Taking mental notes about that as we go.
Yeah, that's the Tower hyper potion. Yeah, that's pretty useful.
I was today years old when I learned that hyper potion is there. So yeah.
There's also one in
especially
Hideout.
When...
If you don't know. On the Grimer.
Okay, nice.
On the Grimer, one of the Pokeballs on like the bottom of that part is
because some of these fights can start to go a little bit sideways, as it did in my run yesterday. And Randall getting the Ghastly, so that's nice for him. No Tower Cubone, unfortunately, but he'll take a Ghastly and go with it. So some of these fights can start to go sideways, and at that point, you buy, what is it, like 10 Super Potions in Vermilion? But 10 Super Potions quickly, you can run through those pretty quick. And actually having that plus special defense on Matt's side actually is somewhat advantageous here. In my J&J 3 fight yesterday, I actually got crit. I played Pikachu, but same idea. I actually got crit by a Sludge Bomb. And I would have, but for having plus special defense, I would have actually gotten taken out from full.
Yeah, this fight just sucks all around. It's especially bad on Pika, I would say. But it is pretty bad on both versions.
Yeah, on Pika, a little bit of a difference between the two versions. Eevee does pretty similar strat to what it did against the previous J&J. Nice knockout of the Arbok there, by the way, on Yoszarian's.
Was that a crit?
Yeah, that was a crit.
Yeah, for sure.
So
that's really
great,
hard.
Great knockout there. That's going to be a nice, easy
that
fight for
guarantees
him.
a 2-turn, which is insanely rare.
That's insane. And you're actually seeing on Randall's screen how Pika handles it, which is you volunteer your puppers as tribute, so that it's like level 18 here, and these pokes are level 34 apiece. So one Arbok poison jab will crumple the poor puppers into dust. But you do that so your Pikachu doesn't get double targeted. Because if you get double targeted, that is just bad news. So you're seeing now, like, the strat is go ahead, keep healing Pikachu as much as you need to heal it with the support trainer, and just keep using Thunderbolt, and you get through the fight. So Randall is through there as well. I need to note here, I mean, Randall is up 2 on catch count. on Yoszarian. But
yeah, they're not that far
is-
apart. I think Randall is still a bit ahead, but they're not
yeah,
that far apart.
this is shaping up to be a really good race. I'm happy to see Yoszarian doing so well today. Obviously, he had a bit of a rough go yesterday. And Yoszarian, if you're listening, Waterstone. But glad to see him, take what was not his best day yesterday
Power of Love.
and turn it. Oh, a Power of Love there. Very nice. Also known as Path of Legends.
Yeah, that is the correct name, actually, sorry. So it sounds like also a pretty straightforward fight from Matt, which is weird. These fights usually don't go that well.
Yeah, I was going to say, you would not know that these fights are as scary as they are just watching this race. They can go a lot of different ways. The EV notes actually say, don't get unlucky.
Yeah, I got unlucky on my round one.
Yeah, and that's just how it can go.
Yeah, and even if your EV doesn't die, like, even your Rhyhorn can die. Which is not necessarily, like, game over or anything like that, but it wastes time. So,
right.
And that's the case with a lot of fights in this game. Even if you are technically not that likely to literally wipe, you can still lose a bunch of time to fights, because actually wiping is not that easy usually, because you have all these spokes in the party. It's just that it takes time.
I mean, again, in Pika, you want to actually lose the Arcanine, because otherwise, or the Growlithe, excuse me, because it actually starts gaining levels here on Route 17, which is where Yoszarian is otherwise. But other than that, yeah, it's like, okay, I gotta bring in a new Pokemon, I gotta just quickly, like, get to the correct mon that I want, and all told, it's probably 5 to 7 seconds. It's not earth-shattering, but look at how close these runners are. Okay, 5 to 7 seconds, where you've got two runners within, I want to say, 15 seconds of each other, give or take. Again, I'm going to be scolded by the copy pasta, but these runners are just very, very close. And that little extra incremental time, it's you don't want to be using it on, okay, well, I had another Pokemon fate, and I had another Pokemon fate, and I had another Pokemon fate, which is how those JJ fights can go.
Yeah, so Randall and Yoszarian are really close here. They both have 36. Yeah, Randall just got to the route.
Very close.
Obviously, having Arcanine here helps a bit. Makes it much faster.
Are there any spawns for Randall anywhere?
That's an Eevee.
Oh boy.
This is okay. I like this.
Here we go. All right,
we've got some
memeing going on here, I think.
So for Eevee, usually double Ultra and Raz, and it's still not as likely as you want it to be, especially not when you miss the Excellence.
Yeah, only a great. Let's see if he can get it.
Okay, got it. That's
he does.
That's actually, considering what Eevee is usually like, that's actually a pretty fast Eevee catch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, normally, Eevee is almost a last resort. Matt actually getting a Pidgey here. He did not get it back on Route 6. So this is where that benefit of holding off on Pidgey is. Again, there's the risk that it doesn't show up. But Matt's going to be able to take this Pidgey and take it all the way up to Pidgeot. So, a little bit of a benefit from his perspective. Randall getting a very odd...
I knew it.
Yeah, it gets in. It looked like motion controlled on that throw, but no matter, he still gets the pony.
Yeah, Eevee is going to be a little more valuable on Pika because it gets you 2 pokes. You can catch Eevee on Eevee, just not as valuable because you only get 1 poke out of it, which is the evolution.
Yeah, I would go so far as to say it wouldn't even be worth it if you were on.
Yeah, usually it's
on
not
aim
worth it
catch.
anyway because it's a very bad catch rate compared to the other things here. And it's also pretty obnoxious. Like you need to do 2C ultras, probably Raz, takes forever. The attack cycles are not exactly ideal either. So yeah.
What was that attack cycle on Matt's screen? That was interesting. It looked like it was attacking, and then I don't know what that was. Interesting.
Yeah, lots of stuff spawning on 17 so far, which is good to see.
Yeah. By the way, Yoszarian walking on 17, not necessarily what you want to see. It's a pretty long route, and walking it is not advised.
Probably forgot to mark the Rapidash, I guess. Yeah, Randall just unmarked the Doduo, so I'm guessing he's just gonna go here. Okay, never mind, there's the Doduo.
Oh, there's the Doduo.
So with this, Randall should be pretty much set in terms of catch route. Only has to catch the Star.
Star, yep.
And yeah, the rest would be Evos. For Yoszarian, you still need the Coughing, which is pretty standard as well, and also for Matt. Although Matt is also looking for a Psyduck, I guess, and maybe a Pidgeotto? Yeah, seems that way.
Well, Matt did catch Pidgey, so he can...
Oh, okay, in that case, yeah,
Evo.
it should be... Yeah, in that case, it's just Psyduck, I guess, missing.
Yeah, Psyduck, and then Star, and then when he gets to Mansion, he'll go ahead and get Coughing.
Now, Matt is known for seeing Victreebel and catching it, so I am hoping to see that. I don't think it would matter in terms of... It wouldn't really benefit him, I guess.
No,
which is unfortunate.
I mean, in this case, Matt's a little bit behind, but in an instance like this, this is a very...
I think if he sees it, he catches it. Even if it messes up the catch route. I believe.
This is a highly competitive race here.
One thing you'll note is that the EV runners are immediately evolving the pony to a Rapidash because they only have Rhyhorn, and Rapidash is significantly faster than Rhyhorn. But it is not that much faster than Arcanine, so Randall is opting to keep the Arcanine for now and just potentially let the Ponyta evolve naturally, so you don't have to waste a rare candy on it.
That, and you actually there's a fight later, and we'll talk about it if we see 2C strats on Giovanni, where you don't want to have given the rare candy to Rapidash if you can avoid it. Actually, again, things that happened in my run yesterday. There was some stuff that happened. My Rapidash actually lived a Trio Earthquake on 1 because of the power of love, which just slowed down my Geobyte. So it's a little bit advantageous for Pikachu that Pikachu's already got that fast ride Pokemon in Arcanine, and you just let Rapidash evolve naturally instead of using the candy on it. Now, if you get too far down the line, like if it's after Blaine, it's usually my rule. Okay, we've hit Blaine. This thing just needs to evolve already. Then I'll go ahead. Okay, let's take a look at this. Again, you're going to probably be able to see it better than me because I've got a real blurry screen.
Yeah, 1047 is not ideal.
1047.
It could be worse.
Not ideal. Average is 1062, but 1075 for Randall, so that is just purely by CP alone above average.
But CP is, I mean, it is what it is. It could still be
very misleading.
Yeah.
Because the CP could go into attack stats, or special defense stats, or HP, which are a lot less useful. The ones you're really looking for, kind of in order, are want to see special attack be good. So even for a 1047, like this could still have max special attack, in which case we're saying, oh my goodness, look at Yoszarian Star. Then you want to see speed, because there are a couple of speed thresholds for various Pokemon that are they're otherwise a little bit troublesome. Okay, Yoszarian getting his coughing here. Randall does.
Okay, Randall
He is
catching
gonna go-
this. I don't
Randall
believe he
catching the
needs
Grimer.
it. Okay, so I'm thinking what happens is Randall's gonna skip. Okay, that's a breakout. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, loses some time.
It's about to run away. Okay.
Huh.
I think Grimer was about to run away. That's actually kind of amusing. So Randall is gonna skip the Flareon, I guess, and also the Muck. So I'm guessing this happens because he just ran into it and decided to catch it. At that point, I guess that's fair.
Yeah, and you could skip the Firestone. 1024 is what I think I saw on Matt's screen. Again, my screen is pretty blurry. 1024 is correct. That is a scary low CP star. That will probably, again, you never know for sure until you see the stat breakdown. But that's probably going to be a tough star to work with, especially trying to come back a little bit. Another Grimer for Randall. He's got to be a little sick of these Grimers at this point.
So upcoming is probably the most important menu for Yoszarian. Please remember to Water Stone.
One
we don't
second.
want to see Starry Walt mains today. I'm a little concerned about Matt there. Okay. Okay, Matt is really testing us with that movement. So I completely missed the stats here on Randall. Let's see. That looks...
it's slow.
Yeah, it's slow.
The special
attack looks fine.
Excellent.
Yeah. It's slow, but I think it might be fast enough for Pidgeot. Probably.
Yeah, that's the big one you really want to see. It be faster than.
Actually, not sure.
Okay.
We'll see what stats we get on.
Randall's saying no.
Let's see what it's called. Okay, 113 is pretty bad. So this could be a problem for Pidgeot. Yeah, we'll see.
As for Yoszarian, not min special attack, but it is not good. Speed is fine, but yeah, not the breakdown you would want to see.
There we go. There's
the Water Stone. Yeah, I don't think that.
So Randall with 113 speed means gonna get out of bed by both Rapidash and I guess it's a speed tie on the Ninetales. Ooh, paralyzed on
no!
That's...
Oh no! But fortunately,
luckily, yeah, should be fine now.
Paralysis. I just paralyze, or you might use one of those full heals here. Just make sure the Starmie can get the attack off, and that's exactly what Randall does.
Yeah.
Then he'll go ahead and bed heal after this fight.
So Matt has a pretty decent Starmie, I'd say. Fast enough, I would say.
Yeah, that star looks fine. Again,
decent special.
It's exactly what we were talking about earlier. Of the 3 stars, Matt had the lowest combat power at 1024. The breakdown of his stats ended up being the best of the 3, even though Randall had a star whose combat power was 50 CP higher. Again, you don't really know until you see that breakdown. Randall getting almost bodied by that block.
That is weird movement.
That's a little scary.
I did not check. So, Yoszarian, what did Yoszarian have in terms of star?
Speed was fine. The special attack was less fine. I would say it's probably somewhere in the 6 to 7 IV range, special attack wise, if I had to guess. So considering that's on a 0 to 31 scale, not very good. Oh, hey, look, a Magmar. Matt, I think, sacrificed a bird in this fight here against Ted. It's actually a slightly safer strat. Yeah, so he sacrificed Doduo. It's slightly safer because the last thing you want is for your Starmie to get hit. And there are two bad things that can happen on Ted. One is actually what we just saw over on Randall's screen. You get paralyzed. 2 is you get critical hit, which would take out the star completely. So to mitigate that, you can actually bring out Doduo, Dodrio. Just let it die, because the AI will detect, hey, there's a bird out there that has terrible special defense. I can knock this thing out.
That's okay.
And
Matt just...
Yeah, okay. This is avoid... Oh, no.
You try.
In that circumstance, given that he's already got Rat, you almost just want to charge through there, right? Because if you've already caught a Pokemon, the animation that shows up there is actually quite a bit faster. It's only about 4 seconds. Whereas it's more like 8 or 9 seconds, because there'll be like an animation to denote a new Pokemon that you haven't caught before, like this one right here for Ditto. So when you have a circumstance like that, you almost just want to run right through and just say, okay, I've already caught this Pokemon. I'll take the 4-second time loss instead of trying to dance around everything.
So we'll see what happens here with Randall. Randall has a pretty slow star. Gonna get outsped by the Rapidash, which means it's gonna take a Flare Blitz, and could put... Well, it's a speed tie against the Ninetales.
Could be burnt. He did use a full heal on the Ted fight, so I didn't see if he got confused Ray turn 1 from the Magmar.
Confused Ray, yeah.
Okay, so he doesn't have anything right now to heal a burn.
It should have a burn heal, I would say. Oh, actually, no, this is Pika. Okay,
usually Pikachu does not get a burn heal.
You're right. But it's fine. Didn't get burned. Also good. Won the speed tie against Ninetales, so
through the fight.
Fine. And got the natural Rapidash by the end of playing, which is pretty nice as well.
Yep, that's
so didn't have candy after all. So this is looking like a pretty close race, actually.
Oh yes, absolutely. This is, we're seeing Randall at 47 pokes after the Rapidash evolves and the Psyduck evolves. Plot progression, we're going to see them be in very similar spots. This is not a situation where either one of them can necessarily just fall back on safety strats. This race is too close. Both of these runners are very, very accomplished. Even Yoszarian, who's a newer runner to this game, his PB is a low 303, and it's showing today. And I'm happy to see that it's showing. Neither of these runners can just kind of coast in, or in Randall's case, make memes. So it will be a really fun last hour of this race to see where our runners end up. And you could actually imagine a situation where both of these runners, kind of in the top tier here, have to do some riskier strats, and that actually leaves the door open for Matt, kind of bringing up the rear there a little bit, because if both trainers falter, it could very easily be Matt's for the taking. So everybody is still in this. And this is what you want to see. And as we get into these later rounds of the tournament, you want races that are competitive and interesting, and that's what we're getting here. So we'll see what this last hour has to offer. Now heading to Lieutenant Surge for both of our lead runners. Again, they are separated by, on the order of about 30 seconds here. We'll get an official, well, we'll get a better sense after they both beat Surge. But this is way too close to call, especially given Archer 2 still exists, Caden still exists, Samuel still exists, Caroline still exists, all the Elite Four. This is way too early to say one runner or the other has got this. So going through Lieutenant Surge, nothing really to report here. Unfortunately, this is another one of those where 3 shots and down. Honestly, the most critical thing to note here is there's actually a pretty significant menu between this fight that both Yoszarian and Randall are doing with Lieutenant Surge and Erica. There'll be a pretty significant menu. You want to teach Thunderbolts. You want to heal up your Starmie to full. Neither one of them have any stone pokes after we cut Eevee out for Randall, so you want to move Dotrio to slot 2 because he'll use it in the blue fight here later. So pretty significant menu. You just want to be doing that as efficiently as possible. But other than that, this was a 3 Scalds and out. Erica will be a 3 Psychics and out. Hate to say nothing to see here, but there's certainly not a lot to see in these few minutes. But that will change really, really quickly once we head into self-go. So now off to Celadon again. Gonna go face Erica. We've got Matt finishing up Surge. Again, all these runners are in very close proximity. Cutting down the bush here. The gym requirement, by the way, for Surge's gym was be able to cut the bush down in front of the gym. You get the equivalent of the cut HM from the SSN. So we got that about an hour and a half ago, or maybe like an hour and 15 minutes ago, back when we were on the SSN. The gym requirement for this gym is to show them a cute Pokemon. We have not identified any Pokemon that doesn't count as cute, so that is kind of a trivial requirement. You just show them a Pokemon. Like Grimer, I guess, counts as cute. Anyway, yeah, so not really much of a requirement. We're wandering through the gym just for the sake of completeness. The other gym requirements, we'll get to Sabrina here in a little bit. Her requirement is have a level 45 Pokemon. We will have that with our Starmie. What is interesting is Sabrina herself does not have a level 45 Pokemon, so she would not, in theory, be allowed into her own gym. Blaine, we actually saw it. It was get the secret key from down in the basement. And Koga, as we mentioned earlier, is the 50 Pokemon that we've been working towards for the last 2 hours and change. And Giovanni is just beat all 7 other gyms. So, oh, I spoiled that, didn't I?
Yeah,
oh,
I just spoiled it.
Funny. Darn!
Who's this
Giovanni's the
Giovanni you
last.
speak of?
Who- He's a gym leader? I thought he was the leader of a, organized crime gang. Okay, welcome to the fine world of Kanto, where organized crime leaders can be gym leaders too. So again, 3 psychics and out. Erica is again. We have just come in with this star, and this star is coming in like a wrecking ball at level 46. These pokes are, in Surge's case, mid-20s. In Erica's case, low 30s. They have no chance. So out they go. The difficulty will pick up.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
The difficulty is about to pick up about 5 notches, though, because once we've beaten these gym leaders, it's off to Sylph, and we're gonna see multiple, either scary or time-consuming or both fights.
I want to say this is pretty good pace. I don't have my splits right now. I'm not really sure, but I want to say this is pretty good pace, at least for Yoszarian. There's an Arcanine on Randall's screen, okay.
Hey, look!
I'm not sure if this is PB pace for Yoszarian. I don't actually know what his PB is at the moment.
I'll pull my splits up to give us an idea. My PB is actually slightly worse than Yoszarian's. So this is not a 1-for-1. But Yoszarian would be beating my PB at the moment.
Yeah.
My Erica split is 209.52 with 46 poke. And he's a poke ahead of that.
Yeah.
As well as a few seconds ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is right on it for Yoszarian. And honestly, like, he might not even have the opportunity to stray from that, because this is going to be, he's going to have to keep pedal to the metal here as long as...
I just realized something a little sad. Yoszarian does have a backup Eevee, so this is not actually PB phase. Because the run would be invalid because Yoszarian was the one runner who had to use a backup. But still, like, really solid, especially now that you consider that you lost so much time just from resetting the game to get the backup.
Right. And this is with a backup. You lose on the order of about 35 seconds to load that backup file. And he's still, that would still be PB pace.
Yeah.
Independent of that 35 seconds. So that just goes to show you how good of a run this has been from him. And, after yesterday, on a personal note, I'm very glad to see this, because he just had a bit of a rough day yesterday, and you love to see somebody just come back and say, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take care of business today. So good for him. Win, loss, doesn't matter. He's done a really nice job today. By the way, both runners using Rapidash here is technically on this blue fight.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no.
I've seen this before.
Yep. So
it does have one extra, which is good.
Extra special.
No.
I don't know why he used agility there though.
Okay. Just hit the fire blast.
Just gotta hit the fire blast here. And he does.
Still not out of the woods because now we have light screen. So might have to pump here.
Yep. And then you probably stomp. Yeah, he's scalded. This is not going to do enough.
Yeah. Okay, good flinch.
Okay, good.
Should be good now. I was a little scary.
I just took some time. But he's out of the woods. Okay. Lot going on. We're going to move over to Randall, who now has Archer 2, and Archer 2 can be brutal. You basically have control of 1 out of 4 Pokemon in the fight, and you are at the mercy of both what your Pokemon do as well as what your partner, who is your rival, does. So kind of your VGC opening, turn 1, Electrode self-destructs, Muck protects. It's not too bad. You can't get the 3-turn out of this, but you can still get a pretty safe-ish 4-turn fight.
Getting Golbat there
on
is pretty good, I would say. At least much better than getting the Weezing, which can also Thunderbolt.
Yep. Now take Golbat out of here. We're also seeing the start of Archer 2, or unfortunately, Randall's going to have to heal that off because he's just such low HP there with the Starmie.
Cubone is also not
so
helping. He's doing headbutts because of... Oh, it does have a Hyper. That's actually
does have
really
that
useful.
backup Hyper Potion that he picked up in Pokemon Tower, so he is able to heal all the way to full. Cubone being super helpful in using Focus Energy, by which I mean...
Maybe Bone Meringue with crit kills, not sure. 2 crits, that is. We'll see.
Interesting to see here. Electro, it must have been that VGC opening as well for Yoszarian.
Oh, but he got Weezing second instead of Golbat.
He got Weezing second. Safe from here for,
it looks okay
for Randall.
For both of them.
Out the red. Yep, this looks good. They're both going to get their last evolution here, get them to 48. They're 2 gift Pokemon that they'll both get to take them up to 50.
And Matt is actually not that far behind.
No, not at all. I mean, he's at 46 and is starting the same fight. Certainly not out of it yet, not even close.
Randall only getting the trio now, which might explain why he used Rapidash earlier for blue. Not sure if Yoszarian could have used...
And I can be corrected in chat here. I believe Doduo still actually would take out...
It depends. It's a range.
Executive. Oh, it's a range. Okay.
It's a range, yeah.
Yeah, it does have modest nature because we've set everything to modest with our good friend Madame Celadon of Celadon City. So it does have minus attacks. So even with the X attack that we would use, yeah, it would still be a little questionable.
Yeah, Fire Blast is just better than the range, basically. So.
And it does have a better high end. So if you are able to hit the Fire Blast, being able to have access to Stomp for this Jesse and James fight,
that's also pretty useful.
Is also helpful because you have a chance to lynch the Weezing, which can come back and Thunderbolt you. It can Thunderbolt, and of course Thunderbolt can both do damage to your Starmie and paralyze it. Randall does not want to see that because he's already used both full heal items. So this could be, this could be really advantageous to be using Rapidash here. Okay, so a moment of truth here on the... I'm taking a look also at Matt's screen. Looks like this fight's going okay for him. Yeah, actually, the Cubone, it looks like, took care of the Raticate, so looks like Matt had a very good fight. Yeah, and he's got both of his evolutions coming out in as well. Yeah, that should be a solid fight for Matt.
Yeah, it didn't look that good, to be honest, but it's true. And it seems like it could have been worse. So apparently 5 turns for Yoszarian, then 6 turns for Randall. And maybe more for Matt.
Yeah. I think mine yesterday was 8. So
Yeah, that sucks.
it was a fight, and once you start getting thunderbolts and paralyzed, it can take a turn. So honestly, just get through that fight alive without it taking way too much time out of your run. That's good enough. So Giovanni fight. This is actually the most trivial of the Giovanni fights throughout the entire run. Again, Starmie is still pretty over-leveled here. So it's set up 1 X special attack while the Persian uses Fake Out, and then just gouge your way to victory. So after this fight, we'll see both Randall and Yoszarian remedy their 48 out of 50 catch count. They will get the 2 gift Pokemon. They have a Lapras available to them. They have a Lapras available on the 7th floor here of Silph. And they'll get a Porygon kind of on the south end of Saffron City. So they'll get both of those. And we'll be at 50.
Okay, so I just did like a quick count. It's like 34 seconds roughly.
I was gonna say you and I were thinking alike on that one. I did the exact same thing and I came up with the same number. 34-second differential. I'm actually gonna put that in chat because I see where it adds.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Let the folks know. And I would say, Matt's probably a little bit more than 2 minutes back, but again, that is.
Yeah, I mean, if the two ahead play risky, then Matt could still come back. So.
That could come into play.
Now, in terms of risky strats, Randall has a better start in terms of special attack. So a lot of the riskier strats that involve like ranges are going to be a little better for Randall, but Randall does have a problem with speed. I'm not actually sure what the speed is currently looking like. But he had a really slow start, which could be outsped by the Pidgeot potentially, which is bad news. So we'll see.
And of course, for Yoszarian, the special attack is the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
And that will, in a number of circumstances, be costly. Really, where it kind of kicks in is in the number of psychics you have available. So, Koga is a gym. That's about as nice of a thing as I can say about it, because every Pokemon in that gym has Protect. And they not just have Protect, they like to use it.
Now the shops here are pretty important as well.
Yeah.
I believe Randall did not buy the X Defend, but he did buy X Special Defenses. So probably 2 CGO, but maybe 1 C everything else.
Pika, you actually get.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. It's one of those kind of quirky. So one of the things we didn't mention earlier, and I'll bring it up here, for the early game, you're looking to create what's called God Menu, and by doing so, you can just have one input to get to your X attacks and X special attacks, and be able to do that quickly throughout the middle game. We're past that point of the game now, but in order to do that, you need a couple of extra items. Eevee does it because it buys burn heals.
Yeah.
Whereas in Pika, you actually get a couple of extra items. You get both an ether that you pick up on Route 25, as well as
The X defend.
It'll come be as well as this X defend that we were just talking about. So
you can opt
a
to
little bit of
buy burn heals as well on Pika if you want. They are less likely to be needed, but they could potentially be useful if for some reason you can't really get the range on Starmie, for example, and get scalded and burned. But you're usually going to one-shot that, unless you have really bad attack, which could happen in a tourney race, but yeah.
Yeah, and at that point, I mean, from my perspective as a Pika runner, like, you get burned there. Just go ahead, you burn the 15 seconds.
Yeah, you have to go into the center, yeah. With Eevee, it's just much more reasonable to get the... Okay, this is scary from Randall. Actually, should be fine at this point.
Okay, he's good, he's good.
But yeah, it's fine.
He's good to go there. I think that was a turn 1 light screen, which is kind of the standard fight that you see here. See if Yoszarian gets that turn 1 light screen as well. Actually, turn 1 reflect. This could go one of two ways. Okay, turn 2 light screen. You don't want to see that. That means Yoszarian's going to have to burn another turn.
Yeah.
So he'll probably hyper potion here. Yep. So it goes uses the hyper potion to burn a turn. Then he'll scald here. And that special attack is kind of kicking in. We'll see if it takes it out. It does.
Matt also doing the 1C shop.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's...
Which is fair.
Matt's
I mean,
gotta be...
you have to do it, I guess, at this point.
He's got to be full send. Again, as we kind of talked about at the top, right? Like, the winner of this race, I think, is in pretty good shape to make the semifinals. Certainly not assured, but that would get them to 6 points. At that point, you probably can get second, given the caliber of these runners, and get above median and get to 8 points. If you get second here, you're probably looking for a first place finish in round 4. But if you finish third and come away from here with no points, that's probably it. There's probably no way back for you. 6 points is probably not going to be enough for these runners to advance into the semifinals. So I agree. Like, Matt going full send is the correct move, even if it's a little bit risky. Speaking of Matt going full send, he was flirting with that psychic there for a little bit.
Randall's really playing with us, or not Randall, Matt is really playing with us in terms of the movement around the optionals. Yeah. So Randall about to find out if he actually has 50 Pokemon.
Yeah,
you never know.
Cracker does say 48. He just didn't mark the 2 gift Pokemon, but he does indeed have. Yeah. He does indeed have 50. This friendly gentleman at the gym, who is actually Koga, just told him so. So Koga can be a troll of a gym, and actually, much of it is not because of Koga himself. It's his underling, Caden, who we're about to see right here. He's got a muck that likes to do trolly things, whether it's protect, whether it's minimize, whether it's toxic, whether it's moonblast, which can drop your special attack. It's just not a fun Pokemon. You want to see turn 1 protect here.
There we go.
And that's what he gets. Perfect. Turn 1 protect. That means he's not going to get protected here on turn 2. And the muck goes down. Now for the Beedrill. So go ahead and scald this Beedrill to save Psychic PP. You want to maintain that
getting
much
this
you can.
return, that's pretty good.
And Randall gets the perfect Caden fight. That's a big deal. Let's see if Yoszarian can duplicate that, or at least get... I wasn't sure that existed until I just saw that. They certainly don't happen on my runs, that's for sure.
Let's see what Yoszarian gets.
Wow, Koga starting up, so we're going to be looking at two fights at once here. Moonblast from the Muck, and that is a special attack drop. So Yoszarian will probably want to Hydro Pump the Beedrill because Scald will no longer take
Psychic.
it out.
You can Psychic this.
Or Psychic.
Yeah.
And that's
Hydro Pump
the downside on the Psychic.
Hydro Pump might be a little too memey for this.
Okay, so Randall gets turn 1 Protect on the Weezing, so that worked well for him. And Venomoth also turned.
In the meantime, Matt is done with Sabrina, so gonna head to Koga as well soon.
Yeah, Matt's got I think I saw 122 there.
Yeah, 122 and 126. 122 is not the greatest, but it's manageable.
It's not as good as I thought it was.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to take advantage of any Scalds on Koga, like we've actually seen Randall do here. But again, it could be much worse. Okay, Yoszarian starting up just as... And okay, also a turn 1 Protect on the Weezing. That's what you want to see.
The Weezing also has Explosion, which can actually be pretty good because it can lure the other Pokemon into not using Protect.
Yeah, technically optimal. You do have to heal after the fight.
But it's also pretty scary because you can also get just one shot if you get a crit from Explosion.
Yes.
And from, I guess, our experience, usually Explosion happens more often when you are not full health going into the fight, which was actually Yoszarian's case, but it didn't really happen.
Another
getting a lot of protects, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're down to 3 Psychics on Yoszarian.
I'm not sure if he Elixired yet.
I think he did.
You do need to Elixir at some point. You can do it right after Sabrina, you can do it right after Caden, and you can do it after Koga. I usually do it after Koga, but I know a lot of runners like to do it early.
Yeah, this would be a moment where I think Yoszarian would be like, can I have that Elixir back now, please, and use it again?
How many does he have? Is it 3 Psychics?
He's got 3. Now, that's
3
actually
is technically manageable.
That's actually manageable for Eevee. Pikachu, that's not, because you have a little thing called Jolteon. That's a problem. Yeah. He just has to be very careful as to using Psychic on the right things. You have to save 1 for Venusaur. So you've got to Scald the Marowak. You've got to Scald, probably Scald the Raichu. You have to use one on Vileplume. You have to use one on Nidorino. So you know which 3 Pokemon you're going to use Psychic on. It's going to be the Nidorino in Giovanni's Gym. It's going to be the Vileplume on Rival 5. And it's going to be the Venusaur on Naomi. So you just have to kind of say to yourself, okay, I know which Pokemon I'm going to Scald. I know which Pokemon I'm going to Psychic. The rest, I'm going to have to find a way with Scald. Let's see how Matt's Koga goes here, while our other 2 runners do some plot progression. Matt has not moved the special defenses to. One of the things that we normally do in the menuing is move the special defenses to the last slot so you can easily, quickly get to them. He has not done that yet, so that's a little bit of time.
You mean the
takes
special
as a
attacks?
result.
The X special attacks.
Yes, the special attack, thank you. Matt's scalding the Venomoth. That was a range.
Yeah, that was a range.
But he got it. He got it. Yeah, he's going. You know, he does not want to find himself in a scenario where...
I mean, he might have already elixired. And only has 5 psychics, I guess, at this point.
Yeah. It's... Given his special attack, it's better than a 50-50 range, so it's favorable. But...
Oh, that's not the correct... Okay, it's fine, it's fine. It was a manip.
He saves the Thunderbolt.
It was a manip.
Okay.
He knew.
Alright. That's one way to save a psychic. So, hey, it worked out just fine for Matt. Taking some risks, saving some psychics, but it works. Let's see what Randall does here with...
doing 2C.
Okay, so he is going to go ahead and 2C Samuel fight. That is the far safer fight.
Yeah.
Because otherwise...
I believe Randall had a bit of a better gym. Or actually, I mean, definitely had a better Sabrina because got Light Screen turn 1. And I believe had a bit of a better gym in Koga as well. So did gain a bit of a lead, so probably gonna choose to do the 2C strats, I guess. At least for the time being. And maybe we'll see some 1C action from Yoszarian to try and make up that time.
I would expect to. So Yoszarian getting rid of this first trainer. About to turn the corner over to Samuel. Again, I would fully expect to see the 1C strats come out here.
Yep.
Yep, and it's 1C. This relies on...
I'm not sure what special attack is looking like. It could be a range as well.
That could also be a range on the Nidoking. Again, the special attack was very, very low. I think only you have to have 122 special attack for this to be a guaranteed KO.
Got it.
He got it. Nice KO.
So that should save a bit of time.
Yep. I did not see if Randall got the second controller out for Giovanni. I would expect he did.
I guess we'll see.
C? Are we seeing 2C?
Yeah, it's 2C.
We are. So idea here, Dugtrio uses Earthquake. Hopefully, for Randall's sake, knocks out the Rapidash. So you have essentially a one-on-one fight. Takes a little less time. You'll special attack here.
Yeah, I mean Randall didn't
Rapidash
candy.
is gone.
Randall didn't candy the pony, so.
Yep, that's correct. Yeah, that's where that comes
good.
in. So no power of love.
We do want to pay attention to Randall's stats. Randall's gonna level up here. Well, they're all gonna level up here. Starmie always levels up at Geo, and that's where we're gonna check what the speed is gonna look like. Because it was a little concerning. We'll see if it's gonna outspeed the Pidgeot or not. The Pidgeot has 127 speed, I believe.
Meanwhile, Yoszarian starting up. Let's take a look at the speed real quick.
And it's a speed tie against the Pidgeot.
127 speed. So
that's
I think he's just got to go ahead. He'll act a full. He's got to revive the Rapidash anyway. So that's within the same menu.
I mean, we'll see what it does. You could technically also...
And
oh, and Starmie's dead.
Starmie knocked out on Yoszarian's screen, unfortunately. You know, this is where you start to try and take some of those risks. And unfortunately, this one has backfired on Yoszarian. The Earthquake there takes out the Rapidash. Yoszarian's going to have to set up again.
This is still wipe. There's just no saving this, unfortunately. Yoszarian's going to have to wipe.
Yeah. Now, there's another question here. So, Yeah, I just don't think
No.
he's gonna be able to.
Just
No,
go.
that's
Just
not gonna live.
take the death, please.
He's trying to save it. There's just no way to save this.
No. It's one of the few fights where wiping actually can happen if things go wrong. Because there's really no saving it if you only have 2 pokes. This duck trio is really fast.
Yeah. So, wipe, unfortunately, for Yoszarian. Now, we also have Matt going as well. He's now on the Nidoking fight with Samuel. Let's see how his Hydro Pump goes. He hits, he KOs. Very nice.
So we could actually see
All of a
Matt
sudden,
getting
yeah,
really
we
close
could see
now.
Matt very easily. And so this is Celadon. This is Celadon. He's got to fly to Vermilion. This is not Vermilion.
There we go. Actually, so I wasn't looking at Yoszarian's screen. Did he get crit or?
I think his defense was bad.
Oh, so I got 3-shot or something. Okay,
I think he got the 3-shot.
that's
That can
unfortunate.
confirm that for me. Bit of an alternative strat from Randall, actually using Beedrill and just going ahead and letting that get KO'd.
Oh, okay, that's pretty interesting. I guess because of the that makes total sense because of the
Now, does
speed tie.
Yoszarian know? Does Yoszarian know the backup to get back into this gym
Oh
without
no!
having to face
Oh
another
no!
fight?
No! I think we had this happen maybe yesterday.
Yeah, unfortunately, he did not do the correct steps. This is going to be not 1, but 2 additional fights for Yoszarian.
That's very
Meanwhile,
unfortunate.
over on Matt's screen, we are seeing the 1C fight. Fortunately, Matt, it looks like, has a little better defense. So he's going to go ahead and live those 3 earthquakes. And yeah, this. Ooh. Didn't even KO the Nidoqueen here up on Yoszarian's screen right now. Yeah, Yoszarian's in a world of hurt, unfortunately. He will go ahead and fall back into 3rd after facing yet another trainer that's going to be on the end of this. Let's take a look at Trubbs' stats. It's 126, 131, so he does outspeed the Pidgeot. He'll be fine there.
Okay, this looks like a fight for 2nd now. I do think
Yeah, this could be a
Yoszarian
fight
still
for
has a
2nd.
chance to
He
get
does.
2nd.
If I'm Matt, given the format of this tournament, I'm now pivoting to Sate's draft. I make the calculation that Randall is probably also going to do safe strats, given he's now on the order of minutes ahead. So Randall can just safe strats his way here. He will not lose anywhere near enough time for this to be a problem. So I would, in turn, if I were Matt, I would pivot and go ahead and use safe strats as well, just to lock up 2nd place. And if you lock up 2nd place, hey, like there's still that possibility that round 4, hey, you can win your.
And Matt is saying full send in chat, so we'll see.
Full send for Matt. All right, well, shows you
I
what know,
believe
right?
Yoszarian is a little lost now in the gym, which is understandable.
Yeah,
We don't really do this puzzle often.
Yeah, he's getting
Just have to
pretty
go
busy.
behind. Just have to go like behind the trainer. I think he'll figure it out. Just has to go to the left and he'll figure it out here. Yeah, there we go. He's got it.
There you go. Yep.
So he could have still fought one more trainer, I guess. So probably gonna do 2C here, I guess. He did buy, I think, no, it's still gonna 1C. I think he did buy
1C.
a couple of X defense.
Okay.
After wiping.
Also, we're starting to see Naomi over on Randall's train again. Totally predictably at this point, seeing that, I even think Naomi is too risky to 1C, even if you are trying to make up time. That is just a scary, scary fight. Yeah, so 1C again here. Matt is doing just fine on his Rival 5 fight. So far, so good for Yoszarian. A little scary as the Doug trio starts to try to get those critical hit moves, but he's going to go ahead and be through this fight this time. So good job for Yoszarian getting back, finding a way through that fight. Meanwhile, Matt finishing up the Raichu. So Rival is not an issue there. Again, we fully expect to see safe strats from Randall. I would say we would expect to see safe strats from Matt as well, but I'm not sure those are in his vocabulary. So we'll keep this interesting right up until the end.
I mean, at some point the E4 is gonna stop trolling Matt. Surely.
Yeah.
Bound to happen sooner or later.
Hi, Matt.
You have a race to get second in.
Yeah. So Randall about to do the Alexa skip. Alexa skip being one of the... I mean, you can try and do it relatively safe, but if you do mess it up, it is significant time loss. So if you are, like for example, Yoszarian is right now behind, it could be something to make him come back if Matt misses it.
Yeah, and it especially for newer runners, it is a daunting skip.
Yeah, it is not the hardest skip, but it is pretty scary, especially because it's at the end of the run.
Yeah,
I know you've had some trouble with it.
I sure have. Yeah, I hit Alexa as all of my Amazon-enabled devices in my house go off at the same time. Yeah, I hit her in round 1. I just decided, okay, I'm gonna keep a dedicated save file and just make sure I've got this down to a science. By the way, seeing Caroline put Randall to sleep here. Yeah, Matt actually 2-seeing Kangaskhan, 2-seeing the Naomi fight, but not getting the Hydro Pump range. So, and unfortunately getting the Feint of Star. Oh my.
Oh, Beatrill is still in the party. Getting a level.
Beatrill is...
Beatrill level 11. Watch out for level 13.
Watch out for level 13, it learns Rage. I think he'll be okay, especially given this this development.
I don't know. Could get to 13 on Dawson.
Yeah, we could.
Unless it deposits.
And unfortunately, Matt is going to take a white...
There's the 13.
There you go.
That's pretty funny.
So Matt taking the white here on... despite doing the safer... the safer Naomi strat, he got sucker punched by Kangaskhan.
Really? I actually wasn't looking. That's crazy.
Yeah,
we were just talking about it the other day. That doesn't happen.
Yeah,
very
he
often.
actually got the sucker punch on Kangaskhan, and that took him out. And then
So Yoszarian is all of a
Rapidash.
sudden back in second place?
He's right back in it.
And it's
because
actually
now
pretty close still.
It's very close.
Probably like
so I would
20
actually say
seconds.
Yoszarian's got a little bit of a
Actually-
lead.
So actually Matt is not gonna have to get through all his like shatter. Because he already has the he already went
That's
through
right.
here.
That's right. He
So I
doesn't
think
have
he
to-
might
doesn't have to talk to
still
all the
be
cards.
slightly ahead. But it's very close. I
No,
don't think you have to
it's
talk to
so
them
cool.
again. Yeah, you don't. So
No, you don't.
Matt is slightly ahead, but that definitely makes things much more interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, those risky strats that we thought were off the table. Guess what? We are gonna see risky strats, and justifiably so here. Let's see how this goes. Again, Matt's only guessing 20 seconds ahead or so. Meanwhile, Randall is just, he's on autopilot at this point. He's almost all the way through Victory Road.
I forget what the speed is on Jinx. On Lorelei.
This isn't like 120. I want to say it's 128.
Yeah, if
So
it is
you outspeed
128, then
129.
Randall will outspeed it. Barely.
Yeah.
Because Randall has 129. I do think it's also 128, but I'm not sure. It's not too consequential usually, but it's worth noting, I guess.
Both players to seeing Naomi, which I 100% agree with, even when you're trying to go fast. This is just too scary of a fight to do.
Yeah, 1C is more of a desperate play, I would say. With
Yeah,
this kind of a lead,
that
it's
is-
not really necessary. You can try and bank on other things later to make up the time. Yeah, thanks, Dynam. So Jinx is 128, so Randall should have no problem with that. That's really
No.
the last thing.
Oh boy,
Speed-wise.
Yoszarian actually missed the range on Kangaskhan.
And Rapidash
The
dies. That's fine.
Kangaskhan took out the Rapidash,
It's fine.
and Hydro Pump miss. I mean, it's fine because you get a free heal off Officer Jenny here in a second. It's fine. Everything's fine. He doesn't probably need to heal before the next fight. The notes say kind of look for 50 HP or more, and he's definitely above that amount. But yeah, that Naomi fight is just so scary. Meanwhile, Randall is starting the Elite Four. He will take on Lorelei. We'll see if he goes for +4 strats. Oh, and Yoszarian talking to Rapidash, seeing how his mount Pokemon's doing. Really difficult when you're just trying to mash and talk to people while you're on your ride. You're like, okay, I'm trying to make up those precious seconds, and then you talk to Rapidash, and there goes 5 seconds down the drain. Let's see what he does here.
Okay, Randall hinting at pumps. Actually, not sure. Does he not have the enough special attack to just scald the Jinx? Because I think his special attack was actually decent. Okay, 12 and 16, so gonna be pumping the
Okay.
Jinx.
Yep.
He will outspeed the Jinx, barely.
Yoszarian with 125 special attack. That hurts my eyes, man.
Oh, miss. Oh boy.
Okay.
Okay, the second one should be
All
fine
right.
now.
Jinx is out. I mean, even if he had somehow wiped there.
Now,
oh my goodness.
unfortunately, I think Randall is
He's
gonna
still
have to
dead.
do this.
Yeah, he is definitely going to have to heal. That is.
Which is unfortunate because
That is.
we're not gonna be seeing Feint today.
Yeah, no
Which is
feints,
oh, no heal. Okay,
oh,
Randall's
no
not gonna
heal.
heal.
Randall saying no heal.
I'm actually not sure what the defense is looking like, so Earthquake might actually not kill here. It's time.
He's saying it's time. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. We
Let's
will put this
see.
to the test, I think.
To be fair,
Uh,
I think if you die to faint, you can still win the race. I think.
yeah, I was going to say a wipe on Bruno, and he's still fine. Now, if he wipes later, that might be a problem.
Granted,
But,
Hitmonlee is the last poke.
and
Yeah,
at
I
this
don't know.
point, honestly, if he were to get faint, that's... And Yoszarian just getting the Alexa skip, so all of our runners are past her.
Dude got crit!
Oh, there goes Starmie.
Well, technically it's still fine because it can just...
Yeah,
It can still
okay.
just revive because it still has the rapid dash.
Revive Star.
And this is still fine now. We could still see faint. There's another chance, I guess. Depending on... Oh, never mind, it's just healing now. Okay. Lame.
Come on, Randall. Where's our content? We gotta try it again. Come on now.
It's actually pretty crazy that it crits.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, that was all likelihood of range, even notwithstanding the crit. I mean, it could have.
I mean, if Randall went for it, I'm assuming that a normal roll would not have killed. I don't know what his defense looks like, but he does, I guess, so probably would have been fine. 114
Oh,
defense.
his defense is excellent. Yeah, his
Really
defense
good.
is really good. So that probably was not a range. Looking at that.
That's where all the
defense.
combat point went for.
Yes. No
Put a
speed,
turnaround
but
skip,
plenty
yeah.
of defense. All right, so just to kind of get back to our race for second, which may end up kind of being a race to stay in contention for this tournament. We've got, it continues to be Matt slightly ahead. He's on the Lickitung fight here with Dawson, which Yoszarian is just starting. So again, we're no more than 30 seconds between these two runners. It's close. It's gonna stay close.
Okay, so Randall gonna go for 2C Agatha here, which is understandable. Especially after that last fight.
As much as we want the content, yeah, that's...
At some point you gotta
given
play
where
to win.
he is, yeah, you're here to win. Lockup needs to be locked up. Get your 3 points, and live to see another day. See, I'm gonna kind of keep an eye on exit times of Victory Road. Matt also picked up the full restore, so we could be seeing some 1C Agatha strats there. Yep, same with Yoszarian.
Yeah. 1C Agatha is not that scary. It is technically, of course, safer to just do 2C, but 1C is usually fine.
Yeah.
It's definitely not as scary as 1C Lance or Champ.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got about a 32-second differential between Matt and Yoszarian right now, with Matt holding that slight edge. But again, this can go either way. We are seeing some safe strats from Randall. The idea here is with Agatha to use either a bird, a flying type Pokemon, or a fish, a water type Pokemon. So Lapras definitely meets that description as a water type Pokemon. Yeah, it's not strictly speaking a fish, whatever. And so the idea there is the Lapras will bait out Weezing second, so you can use an X speed on the Weezing to supplement the Starmie, so you outspeed the Gengars, and are able to get through this fight safely. Lapras also can help in a pinch against Lance, because if you're not 140 special attack, which Yoszarian absolutely is not, or even close to it, you can use Lapras's Ice Shard. It's a priority move, so it'll do some chip damage onto Dragonite before Starmie comes back in and goes ahead and KOs it. Yoszarian's still setting up. I think you set up to +4, so you may be taking a little bit of a risk here. This Lapras can be a range.
It will be a range for sure. Yeah, that's not a good range.
No. Yeah, with a star this bad.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, it's fair considering, I guess, that Matt is ahead, but I think I would have still gone +6. If it was just a range on the Jinx, then maybe, but having such a bad range on Lapras is you're almost guaranteed to lose at least a turn, and at that point you might as well just do the X special and guarantee everything.
Right. Yeah, the special is just too bad. Like it's bad enough that you almost expect between the Lapras and then the Jinx Hydro Pump, you almost expect to lose a turn. So at that point you're like, okay, let's just set up one more time and tweak this thing. About a 30.
So we have another feint.
Differential.
Another feint option. Okay.
Okay.
It's not Randall, so it's not gonna happen.
We're sitting on 6 HP. Don't get any ideas, Hitmonlee. We're due for the content, but like, don't get any ideas. Seriously.
It does not exist.
He'll get some HP from the level up, but not enough to get out of feint range. Meanwhile, Randall just finishing up Lance again, doing 2C, very safe. Yoszarian, unfortunately, with the death there, getting Bruno turnarounds, that will lose him about 10 seconds, about 2 seconds for each turnaround. So Matt's lead will continue to increase. All right, moment of truth. Will it happen? No.
Does not exist.
Surprise.
So Matt has 133 special at the moment, which means he will likely have a range on the Dragonite. It should be relatively favorable. He's still gonna level up one more time before the Dragonite, but it should still be a range. Yoszarian, on the other hand, will have a much worse range, most likely. I'm not sure what the special attack is looking like right now, but
I was gonna say you might just in his
actually
case, the range might be so rough.
I guess the death means we also got a little bit more experience. But I don't think that's enough to get an extra level, so probably still gonna be 53.
He got those 2 extra fights in Giovanni's gym, which is why you're seeing the turnarounds on Bruno.
So we're seeing Butterfree again on Randall's screen.
Butterfree
very popular today. Would be pretty funny if the Butterfree somehow lived on Power of Love.
Unfortunately, no such luck for our good friend Butterfree. Gonna get knocked out, but that's entirely by design.
Is that +2 T-Volt? Yeah, that's not gonna work.
That was +2 T-Volt.
This is a little scary, actually.
Dicey.
Okay, went for... Okay, should be fine now.
Rival uses full restore.
Yeah, this is fine.
I mean, it's fine.
What
Okay,
I was having just a little bit of a flashback there because I believe when that happens, there is also a chance that you can have a withdraw from champ, which happened last year.
By the way, just quickly mentioning, both Agatha fights for Matt and for Yoszarian are 1C. Both look pretty good. So Matt is on the second Gengar. Yeah, and Randall is onward and upward to the Hall of Fame. He's gonna go ahead and psychic his way through, except for the Slowbro, which he won a Thunderbolt.
Randall apparently had a 15 and 16 on Jolteon. So.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say he did not set up to +6.
Playing a little risky.
I was gonna say, yeah, usually the play there is to set up a third special attack on Vileplume. So that's not a range. Usually Vileplume goes for Solar Beam, but he might have also figured that he was in Sludge Bomb range. And if that's the case, then you'd have that issue. But Randall going ahead, finishing up the run. He's going to get probably a low 305 GGs to Randall. Coming off a unfortunate loss for him. He's come back today and shown why he is the caliber of runner that he is. So well done. He'll be on 6 points, and his fate is very much in his hands. Win the next round, he's absolutely in the semifinals. Army getting a little low on health there over on Matt's screen. Again, using the 1C.
Randall somehow finishing the run of 48 folks.
Yeah, that's totally a thing. Yeah. And that is time for Randall, 3:05:12. I know he won't be overly thrilled with the run. I would just note at this point that a lot of people in this tournament would take a 3:05 and run for the hills. So, really nice run. Yoszarian continuing setup on the Seadra. Matt is kind of running through here. I didn't get a great look at the stats. My screen's nice and blurry today. 136. So let's see how he counteracts that here on the Dragonite. So Yoszarian's setup is done. Okay, but just hit the range. Just hit the range.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh my god! It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's cool. Living on 2. All right.
Not even part of love.
Never a doubt. Oh, wow.
That's crazy. What was this special? I don't have the ranges here, but 136 is, has to be fairly favorable.
Yeah. And we're about to see another range here on Yoszarian's screen.
Yoszarian is much worse.
This one even less favorable.
Hey, y'all.
What's up, Randall?
Hey,
and he got it.
And
what?
Because logic dictates that the worst range is the one that hits.
Oh yeah, no, obviously. Yeah. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, that's just how it goes. So we've got the champ fights coming up. So Randall, we'll ask you, questions about your run here in a second, as we talk through champ fight, and feel free to chime in too. We've got 1C strats for Matt again.
Let's go.
Yeah, 1C strats from Yoszarian as well. So it's really up to basically who gets crit here.
Yeah. Again, I said this during T-Pat and Etiquette's race last weekend. You do not want to see crits. Do not see crits, and please do not be in the announcer's curse this time. So okay, we're
That's
good.
We're
good there.
Oh yeah, it's not good.
I think it has to heal.
That's maybe a heal.
You gotta
Yeah.
heal there.
No, he's just taking
no.
it.
Oh,
He'll be fine if he
Ah,
lives.
miss!
oh,
okay.
it's a
Not easy.
miss.
Okay, gonna set
gonna
up
heal
again.
now, okay.
He's gonna heal.
He's doing it now. Okay. Alright,
Okay,
Yoszarian's
should be
turn.
fine. I think. Actually, no, still has to
Okay.
do one more. Because
Gotta do
special
one
attack.
more. Gotta do one.
Okay, now
Yeah,
it
Okay,
should be
we're
fine.
good. We're good. No announcer jinx today. All right.
There's another fight coming on.
Yeah.
Hold that thought there,
Hold.
Pokedex.
The
Hold.
defenses look much better here on this side.
Yeah, this is the normal champ fight. You're usually not getting 3-shot by air slash.
Out of
Yoszarian.
hypers?
Oh, really? That's
This should be
possible.
quick attack range, so it should be
Hypers?
fine still, but
Okay.
we'll still need to heal one more time, I guess, because of quick attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to heal one more time.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh no.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay, hold.
Okay. Once again with the super
There we go.
Okay,
Now
this
it
should be
fine.
good.
and using.
Wait, what? Okay.
Wait, you're good?
You're fine, you're
Good.
fine.
Sorry. Please get rid of
Alright,
this pitch
Honorable,
on.
that's fine.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we're good. GG.
Might want to just scald stuff, I guess. I don't actually know.
Yeah, I
what
would say
it was.
All right, and then
What a
that
silly
is on his final
raid.
poke.
I don't actually know what the special attack is looking like right now, but it was really bad, so
It
Okay.
was really bad.
Gotcha.
might be better to do Scald on Marowak.
And Matt is going to go ahead and finish up his run. It's going to be about a mid 310.
Alrighty.
He will get second place, and Matt's still going to be in this thing going into round 4. I would say it's probably a win and maybe get a little bit of help, whether it be from other racers in that general area, or win and get some, or get above the median here.
We'll see how many
below the
points he
median, I
gets.
guess.
Could be one,
Yeah.
could be two.
Army was a
Maybe-
scam.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
What's up, Matt?
Hello. How's everybody
GG's.
doing?
Good.
I'm having
I
a
hope-
good time.
I hope I provided enough content for you all today.
There was
I
certainly
hope I
some
did too.
content. Randall, I know we haven't really talked to you about your run because we were commentating
All good,
through
You're good.
Matt and Yoszarian's finish. As Yoszarian's going to finish up in about a mid 311. Randall, talk to us about your run. What the highs, the lows, the
I just came in wanting to have fun, to just kind of like have this kind of be a bounce back after last round. So I just came in, started having fun. Y'all were talking about Go Power, so I just named my rival Go Power, all that. My original plan was to name my rival Eevee, or like the letters EV. But I just saw the opportunity and I couldn't pass it up.
Yeah, that was, we enjoyed that here on stream when you did that.
Yeah, I'm glad you did.
Yeah. So let's bring Matt into Matt. Lots of content, but you've still found a way to get second, and there's time for Yoszarian at 3:11:28. Yeah, I guess where to even begin? There was a lot going on there. I think we might have lost.
You are
we might
muted,
have lost
Matt.
there for a second.
I think. Okay, he might not be here, but it seems like we have Yoszarian.
There we go. There
Okay,
we go.
never mind.
There we go.
Go
I
ahead.
don't know. Somehow I accidentally turned my mic off.
Nice.
But no, like the the movement that you guys were commenting on. I mean, that's my regular movement through like Pokemon Tower and around Alexa and everything. The that optional on Route 10, I tried to beat her. I got hung up on that corner, and she tagged me right there, and then my thumb slipped on the passage there north of Vermilion, so that's why I hit that optional there. But I definitely did what I could for the content, especially against Lance there, where I missed a 14 out of 16 range, and
yeah. Oh.
I'm pretty sure my neighbors downstairs might think that I was being murdered at that exact moment with how I screamed when I lived on 2.
Yeah, that was really an interesting series of events. As we have Yoszarian joining us as well, it was interesting to see your two Lance fights. Yeah, Matt, you had a 14 and 16 on Lance, which you missed and promptly lived on 2 HP. Yoszarian had even worse special attack on that
Dude,
fight.
my Starmie was about as bad as it can get, I think. Like, that's one reason I risked it on Geo, is just like my stats were so bad. And I think it was pretty even at that point. Like, I felt pretty good, even having to reset like my EV through the first 2 hours or so. And then just obviously at Geo, when they killed, it went off the rails. But
yeah, so I'd actually pulled my
Were you
my
on
PB
PB pace
splits.
at any point? Because we were
Yeah,
talking about
that's
it
what I'm wondering.
around, I guess, Sylph, I think.
If
Just before
I-
you missed the Fire Blast.
yeah, if this was a real run without the 40 seconds resetting the EV, like it would have been PB probably through like up to Blaine, I would say.
Yeah.
So I mean it was going well, and then just think I need to check my Starmie because its special attack was bad, its defense was bad, and its speed was good, but meh.
Unfortunately,
I was gonna
happens
say-
sometimes.
I was gonna say overall, I know I was actually on, if you take out that optional on Route 10 there, I was actually on PB pace for a good majority of the run up until that Naomi fight where just things went sideways for whatever reason. Like I didn't even know. I want to look and see what that range was on that sucker punch from the Kangaskhan, because that had to have been a range.
Sucker Punch is about the same as, it's close to the same as Crunch, but you just never get it, so it doesn't matter. So no one thinks about it or cares.
Yeah.
So I know we've got another race over on PSR2 here in a second, and I know it's going to be one to watch. So between Amber, Saiyan, and Etchy, so that's getting started here. Right?
It's already
Just a few
started, I
minutes
think.
in, but any last thoughts that you guys had before we sign off?
Yeah, I just want to throw a GG's to Randall and Yoszarian for a good race today. And I know it didn't go the way any of us kind of expected it to, but definitely a GG's to both you guys, and also shout outs to Theorist for doing comms and running the tech side of things for this run, and Poketax for being the other commentator. Definitely was a delight to listen to you throughout the run, and definitely was chuckling a few points throughout the time there.
Yeah, I was laughing throughout the entire time as well. So yeah, mad props to y'all.
That's what we want. We want to have a little bit. I mean, these are big races. They're competitive, but we want to have a little fun too. Everybody walks away with a smile on their face. So that's great. Well, again another great match. We'll see all of you again in round 4. Until then, let's pop everybody over to Pokemon Speedruns TV 2. You gotta watch this one. It's Amber, it's Saiyan, it's Etchy. It's three runners on 6 points. One of them's gonna end up with 9 and have it guaranteed into the semis. And it's gonna again, can't miss TV. So I'm signing off. I'm Poketax along with Furious. You guys have a great rest of your day, and to the fathers out there, have a great Father's Day.